Hello, and welcome to your Aunties Could Never, a podcast for cool aunties and uncles everywhere, where you hear no nonsense, straight talkings. I'm Auntie AK, and I'm here with
Auntie Nana
and Auntie
Yetunde. Yeah.
Welcome. So, guys, we will be getting to Auntie Yetunde's business a bit later, and as you can tell, I'm sure you can see, we're two aunties down. Auntie Farah sends her apologies. She's not feeling very well, so she's taking a day off tonight, on the night off, because she's not feeling very well. And Auntie Sade, the boss lady that she is, has got deadlines coming out of her bum, and so she also cannot join the show today. But we wish them all the luck with deadlines, and Auntie Farah to get well very, very soon. Yes. So in that moment, we don't actually have a game. I just realised.
Oh, for real, we should have actually asked her what a
game would have been.
Can you think of something like?
No, let's see. Well, I mean, it's going to be like we don't have a game this week. Sorry, guys. We'll be back to our events next week. So, how are you, my aunties? How are you doing? How's the day been for you?
Good. Today's been not too bad. I was recording a new radio show today for BBC, so that's been okay. So yeah. I had to run kitty kata kata, go here, go there, pick up the children, wait for this one, make lunch, dinner, and then come and look presentable for you people.
Yeah.
But I'm here, girl. I'm here, y'all. Yes, with my I really look like an auntie with these glasses as well.
Yeah, they're cool though.
Like,
very nice.
Yes, I'm in your business. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome to this is my office. This is like anything I want to do. I have everything in this place. I have fridge, freezer, cooker, and my laptops, everything is here. So whenever I want to run away from the kids, I just sit in here.
That's your space.
That is my space. Although I have bedroom and all, but I just moved here last year. It's exactly a year tomorrow. We moved to this 3-bedroom.
Wicked.
Yeah, so I just like having it's bigger space because I lived in a 1-bedroom for 20 years with my kids and finally got a bigger house. And sorry, I'm showing my boo-boos to the words. Okay. It's not that kind of show, y'all. So yeah, so it's just having a bigger space. So I have 2 beautiful chairs. They're like clams.
I'm seeing the design behind.
They're like clams.
My space is my bedroom. I mean,
I don't have flash.
Please, Flash, you better sponsor us for that endorsement. Please.
We need you guys.
But my space in my home is my bedroom.
Like, that's your place.
That's my cubby hole. I mean, I've only got a 2-bedroom flat, but my cubby hole was my bedroom. I really like being in my room.
I do. Same here. I didn't have a bedroom. I had to share a bedroom with my children for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So when I moved here, there's 3 bedrooms. So I decided I use 1 bedroom as my bedrooms because it's one of those upside down houses. So it's a maisonette, but the bedroom is upstairs and then everything else, 2 bedrooms are downstairs. So my bedroom is upstairs. So if I want to have a visitor, in the middle of night or something, nobody know nothing. I do my business. Lord, I'm supposed to be a good Christian. But anyway,
wow. We'll actually get into that.
We will discuss what is a good Christian.
We will discuss what is a good Christian. We will get onto that. Auntie Nana, where's your safe space and what's your day been like today?
I'm trying to think of what's my safe. I think my safe space is probably my bedroom as well. I like chilling out there, and I have the altar. Well, it's our altar, me and my husband. So our altar's there, and I will burn incense and kind of like commune with the ancestors there. So I think my bedroom, and the highlight of my day today, it's been an even keeled day, which is always a good thing for me. Like nothing crazy has taken place. It's just been very even. One of my sons isn't feeling too well, so I like giving him lots of cuddles and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. When the show is over and he's asleep, I will go and give him cuddles.
I used to think, my daughter's too big to cuddle like that, but I used to like when she was little, and sometimes I'd wake her up because you're so cute. Then go back to sleep. Don't try and.
But you want them to sleep, but they're cute when they're sleeping. Yeah, I love that.
And I want them to engage. But highlight of my day, my daughter came home. She's been at Afro Nation for a week.
Enjoy.
And she's back today. She came back in one piece. She had a good time. She's beautifully suntanned. She's knocked out in her bedroom. But also, I'm sure by the end of tonight, the low light will be that these 2 messy buggers are in my house again. Her and her boyfriend are going to be messing up my place again.
To tell you how Afro Nation was. I really want to live that young life. Was it really fun?
She was fun. She said She said it was amazing. Like she had a really good time. She's a pediatric nurse, so her schedule's been nuts. So she was really, really tired, and she actually wanted a chilled holiday. But then they had Afro Nation tickets from before. You know, it was locked. It was locked.
Yeah, remember they canceled. They were supposed to go to Puerto Rico.
Exactly.
Oh,
There was all
I actually know the organizers, Smade, and I know a couple of presenters like Shopsidoo, and what's his name? This Congolese boy, I forgot his name.
Eddie Kelly.
So I know that a few of my friends, when they went to the one they went before, they were saying that the one they went to Portugal the last time, a couple of years ago, was gangster. Come and see, love was free. Free love. I'm like, okay, to be young, beautiful, and like Pashandi, skinny, and doing everything, and my bikini is here. No, we can't be trying that nowadays. You have to.
Well, you know, we have to pick our places, and being on the platforms.
You know what I'm saying?
We have to conduct ourselves well. And even my daughter was well behaved. Well, she went with her boyfriend anyway, so it is what it is. She said it was good. She had a good time. The last day she got an access all areas pass.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
did she go under you? Because I know that obviously was she working? No,
she'd already booked. She already booked and done it with her. You know, it was her own plans. I know we have her dad knows somebody that knows somebody, so she got nice
stars.
Yeah,
Who did she meet? Did she meet
everybody? But she's like, you know, WizKid's like her. He calls her little sis, and I know, but she loves Megan Thee Stallion, but because there was so much security around her, she didn't get to go and see Megan. But she just, you know, she had a great time. She said it was good. She had a good time.
I mean, I actually do like the fact that when we do stuff like Afrocentric stuff, that you get the Americans also jump on and come on board. Yeah. That's really changing the whole of Afrobeat. I mean, look at all the things with Justin Bieber, WizKid last year. That song just went viral. Look at what's his name, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
And this Peru.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden, I remember when I first came to this country 32 years ago, it was not cool to be African.
Exactly.
Now everybody wants to be, hi, my sister, how you doing? I'm like, sister girl, did you not say your name was somebody else before? Now all of a sudden, your Nigerian accent that went away before, that went to Jamaica, has not come back because you were all Jamaican, but not, no shade to anybody, please, because even, but now it's so cool to be African. So yeah.
I just love the ways you bridge the gap, because it was something like Afro Nation. You've got Popcorn, you've got Megan, you've got Davido, you've got Burna Boy, you've got WizKid, you've got King Promise, you've got all the African countries united, you've got American, Chris Brown was there, you've got American artists, you've got Caribbean artists. The melting pot of blackness is what we need, and being unified through our art is the key. It's the key. It's so important. It is so, so, so important. And then
we all wanted. We've all wanted this to take place. Like to
100%,
and we're living it. That's why I am like, I wish I was a bit younger to just like fully like live that as well, like with them, like be on the beach in a bikini, skinning out. Like, oh my word, that would just be the best.
Be the best, yeah.
I mean, we can still do it, but it's a little bit different when you're a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have a one piece now, not two piece.
Yeah.
Hey.
And then listen, a one piece with a cover up. And a little,
and a tummy trimmer, if you can ever find one. Like,
exactly.
I got one really beautiful swimsuit from from Brevissimo, and obviously breast is everything. At least this thing is like control panties. I'm like, wow, I've never seen this so much flat for a long time.
This is the thing. We should embrace ourselves in any way, shape, or form. But it is harder as you get older. No, okay, guys, let's start the show. First of all, okay, and we're gonna miss another thing. Welcome to the family. Damn. Ooh. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to welcome to the family. So if you're listening to the show, guys, please don't forget to add your reviews to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The higher the reviews, the more will be seen. Excuse me, I'm choking. Leave your positive comments and reviews and everything on all the listening platforms that we're on. And we're also, don't forget, we're on Patreon. Please sign up. We have 3 tiers. Make your choice. And to those of us to those of you who want to join our family, what you're buying into is us trying to build a big old family house so we can grow our community and help us become rich auntie. Because you know what's better than a rich auntie? An even richer auntie that gives you rich conversation, rich advice, rich knowledge, and beautiful podcasts like that we do already, but with more budget. So we're trying to grow, we're trying to get bigger and do more with the aunties. So please support us via our Patreon. Now we're going to move into what have you heard?
I have one other additional. If you are watching, and most of you are watching us on YouTube, please like and share. When you like, we go out to more people and more people are going to see us. So everybody that's listening now, please just press the like and subscribe to the channel as well. It means so much to our growth. So please do that now.
Immediately now.
Now.
I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I'm checking to see how.
Oh, she's frozen. What's happened? No, we can't. We've had technical issues. We can't have technical issues. Okay, we'll continue until we can't continue anymore. So now we're getting into news and culture. This is where we get into the news stories and popular culture stories of the past week. So my first story is, it happened last week or the week before. Footballer Gary Lineker says that because of his dark skin, he was racially teased growing up. And it caused a little bit of a conversation.
Oh, come on. Is he joking?
Well, people are saying, you know, how dare he come and join in the black conversation? Why did he contribute to the conversation? What is he trying to undermine what real people went through, real black people go through when it comes to racism and skin shadism? However, I had a thought that, hold on, though I didn't hear it because it was a podcast interview. Okay, Auntie Nana must be going to come back. So I haven't listened to the podcast. He basically was on a podcast interview and said he suffered racist abuse due to his darker skin throughout childhood and at moments in his professional footballing career, because he has got a bit of a glow to him and he doesn't look completely Aryan-like or Caucasian. He looks, I say, well, so Caucasian is white, but
I can send you a photo of me and him together. I would email it to you. Brother is not dark skin, nothing, but that's another.
No, he's not. But he doesn't look. He looks like if someone said he was Greek or Italian or something like that, or well, in pictures, I don't know. I don't think he looks. I don't.
No,
maybe,
he's reaching. No? I'm so sorry. I love Gary. He's a nice guy.
I mean, I don't know him.
I mean, his ex-wife, the one I told you I did a play with, Daniela. She was Indian, half Indian, but she didn't look. You wouldn't realize she was Anglo-Indian. She was until you saw her with a tan. You know, I can say, because I did a play with her, like I said, 10 years ago at the Hampstead Theatre, exactly 10 years ago. My youngest one was just 8 months old. She's going to be 10 this year, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. You were reaching, brother. I'm so sorry. I like you, but I feel as if when people start jumping into the conversation, say that you dealt with racism, like, you know, I dealt with some form of prejudice. I don't even think you can call it racism, really. So if anybody thinks that this one is being difficult or whatever, I mean, I really don't know, because I've seen him, I've met him. The boy looks white. There's no.
No, I mean, to me, I mean, he's white.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
I'm just trying to find a photo because it's on my phone.
I mean, looking at, because he always looked, to me, he always looked like that's the word, Mediterranean. He didn't look like he didn't look like a typical English lad. He looked like he was Mediterranean. I paid him no mind, no attention, no thought. But I literally thought, if someone said, oh, he's Mediterranean, he's got a Mediterranean heritage, I would understand that. And but what I thought was actually, as an alternative, this goes further highlights how racist white people can be. That even someone who's white, who just because they're a little bit brown and a little bit different to maybe everybody else, you're still finding a way to call. It's like no matter how light or whenever you're the darkest one in the room,
they always find a way to just make jest. Right.
So I felt like actually him saying that, and again, I haven't listened to the podcast, so I'd love to get context and to see if he was doing, I'm trying to join Black Lives Matter, or it's literally he was just making a point to say, I suffered, because that's his truth. So I
appreciate that.
I don't have a problem with him speaking his truth. If he was bullied when he was younger, Auntie Nana, welcome back. We're discussing Gary Lineker's claim, you know, his dark skin issues. And I'm saying, Yetunde is vehemently saying, get out of here, man. And I'm saying, get out of here, man. But however, I personally, when I thought about it, I wasn't really mad. I haven't listened to the podcast, so I don't have context.
I'm gonna try and find this photo with me and him. And it's a 10-year-old photo. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back place
and find it. But I was gonna say that I was saying that actually him speaking out about his experiences just further cements how racist this country can be, that even just because someone has a tan or even slightly different skin, the minute you've got a shade different from the majority of your, he was in school, so classmates, and even said in his professional career, racism is afoot. So I'm not mad at him speaking about that, as long as he's not trying, as he wasn't trying to say, well, in some sort of ways, he's not trying to say, well, my experience is exactly the same as a black person's, which I don't think he did. The only other comment that he made that was a bit kind of, what are you trying to say, fam, is when he goes, after he said it, he said, he was English as they come. So, which meant that, which he's trying to say that I'm as English as they come, meaning white. So people probably took offense to that. And it was that. So what are your thoughts?
I was like, okay, Gary, but then looking at pictures of him, and it is like, okay, to me, he kind of has that like Welsh tan, I call it. Like there's some English people and they're kind of dark, like Welsh people.
Yeah,
like,
I would say Mediterranean.
Romany, like there's a look, and he probably does have, if he went through his heritage, I'm sure there is some Indian or black blood within him. But I would have liked, because he experienced that, when there was this whole thing of like kick it out of football and all of the, I would have liked him to have spoken up then when those campaigns were happening, and not being in the background like this has nothing to do with me, I'm a white man. Because it's like, actually say, you are white and you still experience some type of prejudice because your skin tone is darker. I would have liked him to have been speaking about this when he was playing football. Now, okay, great, so you're talking about it, but back then when they were really doing monkey charts and nobody was...
He never said anything.
He never spoke.
It would have been really important, especially in the height of his career, if he was coming out and backing up black players, like when John Barnes was going through it.
Yeah, all of them.
It would have meant more. So not to take away anything that happened to him, but I want the conversation to graduate, that he should be thinking, he should be talking about the fact that he didn't speak up then and why he didn't.
I'd like to know that, I think what it is, because I have not listened to the podcast, so, because you know things get pulled out and exposed and highlighted, and it's for clicks and likes, and everyone went nuts on, well, in context of social media madness, people went a bit nuts on it. I wanted to know the context of, because first of all, why was he asked this? How did the question come about? What was his answer? Because sometimes a throwaway answer then turns into something that, and it's like, you should have said this, you should have done like this. And I'm not in no way defending him, but I applied no thought to what he said. I just thought, oh, that just shows how racist this country is. And I've kept it moving. But when I saw the backlash and people were like, don't try and jump on the black story, I was like, did he? I didn't feel that, but
why now? Why not?
But that's what I'm saying. We need to know. My point is, I don't think
there was all these, like you said, chanting and stuff like that coming forward and saying, guys, I've also been through racism. I appreciate it's not complete prejudice as this is it, but I've been through this. I found the photo. I'm going to WhatsApp it to you now so you can see. And brother, I don't know.
No, because Yetunde saying like he doesn't even look, but to me he does look, as you said, Romani. He looks Mediterranean, but it's more the fact that his difference in looks, people can latch on. We have shadism in South Asian culture.
I mean, this is the photo of me and Gary in 2013 when I did a play with his wife. I'm going to send it to you, and I don't know.
I mean, to me, he's always been a standard white man.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This guy does not look any darker to me or darker than anything. So I'm sorry, he's reaching.
A little bit. Like I mean, it's that kind of like, I can only call it Romani because I don't even think you're allowed to call them gypsies anymore. They can call themselves gypsy, but that Romani kind of bloodline that a lot of Liverpudlians have, and a lot of Welsh people, like it's a tanned all the time. Like
he's got olives. He's got to me, if like I said, if someone said he was Greek or Italian or something, he's got a ruddy color to him.
But English people are racist. Like they will chant to anybody that isn't like blonde. They're gonna hear something from football fans.
Yeah, if you're not clearly, and he's got a bit of a nose that's not a straight typical nose. So the only thing for me, like I said, I dismiss things. We get riled. Sometimes we get stoked. We get riled up and involved in conversations that are not that deep. I definitely agree. Where was he? But at the same, I won't say but as an excuse. There were a lot of black footballers that didn't speak up. There's a lot of white footballers young. He didn't give a damn. He didn't give a damn back then.
He didn't.
No, let me not say that. Allegedly, I can't say he didn't give it. I don't know. But also having the tools and the support to speak up as a white man, let alone black guys that were just like, oh, it's all right, I'm going to keep playing, when you've got bananas all around you banana skins all around you and people are chanting, you're still going to play. We've talked many times about black players in this country not playing, and they still play. So and I'm not putting the blame on black players, but there's a big conversation, and I want to understand the context of why this conversation happened. I need to listen to the podcast. We probably will revisit it.
Yeah, for real. Let's listen to the podcast and actually like.
I think that's the best thing to do. You're very right.
And see what he said, and then we can speak about it with like full context.
Yeah. Just to say the article that kind of came from my perspective was from the journalist, a Guardian journalist, Jason Okunde, and he did say, well, let me see. He is saying,
I generally like Jason's point of views on things. So yeah,
he said, I'm trying to find a worthy quote. Ghoulish right wing is rushing to dismiss his words and tweet Black Linekers matter, because he got backlash from racists as well. Okay. Unremarkable and expected, but it's worth being grateful to the more sensitive reaction from racial minorities. I hate saying minorities, from those who are non-white who feel insulted or patronized by this story. Certainly the case of Rachel Dolezal appropriating Black identity and claiming to be transracial, or the allegations of blackfishing against Jessie Nelson, formerly of Little Mix, who we've talked about her too, provide evidence of why many have simply had enough of what can seem to be an epidemic of white people appropriating racial struggle. However, he did say, but sometimes not all is black and white. In the case of, for instance, theatre director Anthony Ekundayo Lennon, who
I know him very well,
who has a complex personal story of racial abuse and confusion over his heritage due to obvious non-white features presenting since infanthood, the misrepresentation of his story and false equivalence made to Dolezal felt like a missed opportunity for a deeper discussion about race in Britain. So that's what Jason Okundaye said. The article's in The Guardian. I'll drop it in the comments.
Yeah, sure.
Look.
Yeah, I always like how he structures things, and they're really poignant points as well to highlight. But especially like Anthony. Is his name Anthony?
Yes, Anthony, the guy in the theatre. You said you know him.
Yeah, Anthony Ogundaye. I know him because I used to work with his daughters years ago. I used to work in this place called Pelham Bells, and I know him very well. I remember when I first met him, I'm like, why does this guy look so black? Like he's got black features.
Yeah.
And I remember when he said, we had a deep conversation yesterday, I'm not trying to blackfish. And he said he went back and looked at his heritage, that he's got black in him. And they said it was like maybe 20-something%. Because even his daughters, when you see them, they too have afro hair. But I think I'm not sure if their mom is white or mixed race or whatever. But you could tell when I first met him, and even when he had hair, he did not look white at all. If somebody like that is telling me that, you know what, guys, there's something here, then we haven't, because you can tell. But Gary, I think he's just reaching. But Anthony, 100%, because I also know him. I know who he is. And I appreciate that there was a whole article with The Guardian. At that time, he was working with Tallowa Theatre.
Yeah.
And people accused him of appropriating funds by misleading people, saying he was black, that he took away a space with somebody that was originally black. He said, guys, from the very end, it was him and his brother. And unfortunately, the brother actually committed suicide because of the whole thing. I can't remember the whole story. But it was his both parents were Irish. But if you saw the boy, there was no two ways that this guy was definitely, God forgive me for saying, like, you just saw it. Yeah, like, when they say throw back or something, but he just looked like, this one, the black was coming out and it wanted to, it was to show itself. And it's just the honest truth. So someone like himself, if he says, I've dealt with racism, and you could tell that he has black features, we can go with that. But when Gary said I've been dealt with prejudice because I was darker skinned, I'm like, Uncle Gary, I like you, but Uncle Yarishin.
I don't. But but that's facts, though. I think unless he was lying, that's different. But if he definitely experienced it,
but why now? Why talk about
it? But that's why we said we will have to listen to it.
Sis,
we definitely do.
Have to listen to it. But I guess I understand the why now. But race is a thing right now as well. So the conversation.
Yeah, very similar.
But if it's a thing, I agree. I don't know what I'm agreeing with. He mentioned it. If it's his experience, it happened. For me, it just showcases when we're talking about racism, and as black people, we don't want to believe us. A whole white man with a little bit of a tan is suffering racism. That shows when they want to say this country's multicultural melting pot and we're tolerant over here. No, you're not. You was racist to a white man with a tan.
Yeah.
That's my point. So I've had more people talk up. Even if it's 10 years, 20 years too late, keep talking, because why they keep trying to sweep racism under the carpet and act like we're just making noise and we're fussing for no reason.
It's true.
Who was I talking to? Someone said that they feel sensitive talking about things, and they're like, oh, we can't say anything. Because I can't remember who, it was a conversation sometime this weekend. And it's that, like, you can't say anything and we make a big deal about stuff. Well, Gary Lineker, how about that?
Like it hasn't gone anywhere. Should I do the comments?
Yes, please. I'm now riled up for no reason.
Hello to everybody. There's so many people saying hello. So hello to T Smith. Yes, my internet went. The husband did something and it went out. And Gracious Greatness, hello. Iola, thank you for joining us. And it's lovely that you guys are welcoming each other. And Iola says, lovely to see Auntie Yetunde. It is, isn't it?
It is.
Excellent auntie to join us as well.
Yeah. Auntie Nans, what's your next? What do you want to go into?
Okay, I say let's like go straight into SPAC Nation's latest foray into the headlines. The latest thing has taken place, and I saw this. Trend Central randomly, I think this was yesterday, on Sunday, they went live with SPAC Nation. They had a conference somewhere in London, and because now they're called The Nation, and they streamed for 3 hours and they were showing this conference. So Pastor Toby is there talking to the presenter, like going through what the church has done and all of this. And I watched it for a little bit and was actually like really disgusted with Trend Central, and that caught on. People on Twitter were going nuts about it as well. But really what I wanted to get from you guys is, so he's also announced that he's changing the name from The Nation to The Family. That's a new step that they're going into. But also, do you guys think that Pastor Toby is doing God's work? And if you don't think he is, do you think that SPAC Nation is one of the biggest Christian scams in the UK today?
Hey, do we have how many hours do we have for this? It's boring.
Do you want to go first, or should I?
No, my sister, go first. I will just chill. I will, as your Nigerians will say, I will chilolo.
Okay, chilolo me. Bro, I mean, it's just all the questions you've asked. I can just say a blanket yes. I have no direct experience with SPAC Nation or with Pastor Toby, so I'll just start from the jump. I don't know this guy. I'm quite pleased not to know, because I don't like how he presents. I do not know you as a man. I don't like how he presents. I'm very sensitive to false prophet pastors. I'm very, 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 very critical of people that put themselves in positions of power, especially when they're in positions of power that to lead people. You have to be so righteous. I cannot criticize you. And I don't care if that's pressure on your head. You're not a celebrity. You are a person that's put yourself in a position of power. If you're a politician, if you're a police person, if you're in a position of power, you cannot break the rules. And as a pastor, I don't understand why you're preaching materialism. It's ridiculous to me. To a community that suffers with the ills and the trappings of materialism as a deficit. I'm not saying we can't enjoy things, we can, but it comes at a cost in our community specifically. You're not even promoting, even if he was wearing Dilly Pepper that I represent all day, or Pierre Moss, or Grassfields, or Love Yaya, or Greens Teas, or Everyday Fro Day. You're not promoting black brands. You're promoting all these designers and material. And that's just a microcosm of what you're doing. The scamming that we've heard about, and people we know people directly affected by it. So it's not even like people are lying. I don't even have to say allegedly on this. I know somebody who's experienced a direct line of fraud from SPAC Nation.
100%.
So for me, he's not doing God's work. It's impossible, unless God that we've been told about is not the God that we've been told about. So it's the one, then maybe he has an insight into who the real God is. Because personally, as well, as a person that my mum really tried to enforce Christianity onto me, I was very pushed back, reluctant to it. And so I have a real aversion to constructed religion. I think I lost my train of thought, but I don't like being told what to do for the name of God, when especially from people who are false. And that's it. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I'm passionate. He's not, in my opinion, he's not a man of God. Everybody that works with him is not a man of God. He's manipulating young people
Definitely.
And it's dangerous. Nation, SPAC Nation, Rebirth Nation, get out of here, man.
Oh, sorry, I had to mute. I was having entourage. They were coming in and going out. I told you, this house is like, I mean, you've said a few things that I totally agree with. My faith is very important to me. One thing I cannot stand, as you call them, scam pastors. I've been to enough churches in my time, like from VPA, KICC. I've been there for all that. This UC, whatever, that Portuguese church. I've been there. I've seen with my eyes, and I'm like, and I'll see every week we'll go to the church, and the same person that they delivered the demon yesterday is come back again. I'm like, that demon didn't go home. I'm like, I don't understand. They will be, and I'm like, this don't make sense. And the way they'll be asking for money, if you want to give £2, come forward. If you want to give five, come again. First they start with 500. I'm like, look at all of us here. We're all in London. You're asking us for £500. I mean, I've been to a church, even KSCC. You know, who's going to come out? They need to, you know. And then all these churches, they deliberately get people. There's a guy called Mike Murdoch. Mike Murdoch is, any church that invites Mike Murdoch over, you just know it's just to raise funds. It's not for anything else. I've been to a lot of churches where he's been invited. I've watched enough programs when he starts talking about sowing a seed, buy my book, and you're buying. And I'm like, I too went through that buying books, trying to, you know, find salvation. And I borrowed myself sense that, you know what, you people, I'm sorry. I just, when this is how I see it. When your congregational members cannot even afford 3 meals a day. Some of them don't have paper. They don't have anything else. They're struggling. You are driving the best Porsche. You're wearing Gucci. As you said, you're not even promoting Black businesses. You are basically putting wealth, you know, into another quarter. You're wearing designer clothes. You're driving Porsches. You're driving a fleet of cars in UK that costs £100,000. Where did you find the money from? Please, somebody tell me, because I don't understand it. Because what I believe true Christianity is helping your brethren, helping your society, feeding people when they need food, helping people to get education. Everybody that's going through a difficult time. I mean, I know that people have said that TD Jakes church does this, and when you're going through a difficult time with work, they'll even pay your bills, they'll pay your mortgage. Your church will do that for you as long as you've been paying your tithe and all that. You know, even if you're not, I think there's a way. But some of these churches, these pastors, I'm sorry, and I have heard firsthand. There was even another chick, I can't remember her name. This girl, she was going from church to church to church. She scammed so many people. I mean, I heard she went to prison one time. I can't remember her name. If I remember her name, she was this girl. I mean, so many things that you've heard, but I just feel as if these people they're not God. They're not doing the will of God. They're actually, it's disgusting. And they always said that the amount of people that will not go to heaven at the end times, plenty pastors will not be going to heaven.
They will not.
Plenty of them.
They cannot.
Because it's not, I mean, first you ask for first fruits, then you ask for tithe, you ask for offering. Do you know there's a guy I follow, his name is Daddy Freeze, and he started saying that you are not the Levites. The Levites were the ones in the first testament. Sorry, the first testament that said they were the ones collecting tithe. That you need to go into this history of tithe. And if you look at it, do you see Church of England asking for tithe and offering? Do they do? Have you ever been to a Church of England church? They say, oh, we're raising funds for the roof. Please give whatever you can. That's it. They don't ask you, 10%, because you go to church. That's what they hamper on, and they make you feel guilty that you don't give this 10%. If you don't give 10%, you go to hell. Or sow a seed. They start quoting Malachi. You're sitting there like, you're trying to tell me if I don't pay my 10%, God is not going to answer my prayers. I changed my mindset. As much as I'm a Christian, there's certain things I had to change my mindset because I'm thinking, if you don't ask questions, you're not gonna, it was just becoming a thing whereby I just wasn't happy. I was not happy with the way things are being done. And I kept asking questions like, I don't understand why your pastor has a private jet. 3 private jets into your alone. Like David Oyedepo, 3 private jets that man has. And then one other pastor said, and when Ezigo is supposed to go and riding bicycle, if Christ was there, Christ will have a private jet. I said, really? The Christ I know was a carpenter. He used to use plastic cup. I mean, he was using wooden cup to drink. So when you're making excuses, and they would justify everything, touch not my anointed, and you're like, they will use the Bible, and it's all this evangelism that started, and it's all about money.
Yeah.
It's all about money. It's not about salvation. It's not about teaching people the will of God and the word of God and bringing people to God. Imagine our pastors are driving Bentleys. I don't understand. It's all about wealth. We're not. It's I can sit here and talk forever. I don't know.
it's agreed. I agreed.
It really is like that though. And it's the fact with Pastor Toby that he goes around showing his Lamborghinis and like he shows all of this wealth and opulence, and then there's people that are saying I'm being forced to take out a loan and now I'm in debt and nobody's helping me to pay this, and all of the scandal that goes along with them. But still the authorities seem to just allow this church and churches like it to flourish, and there's so many young Black people getting involved in it. I think the biggest thing for me with SPAC Nation is the criminality that's involved. Like, that salvation of, if you've been to prison, like, this is a house for you. But then everybody seems to be involved in some type of scamming. I was watching Mariam Mola. You remember the girl that had the BBC documentary about her?
Yeah, that might have been who Yetunde was talking about.
Full on front row, she was talking about how she has this new salvation program for young women called Love House, and she's saving souls, and they're all applauding her. Like, I literally was watching with my mouth open, like, I cannot believe that this is being streamed on Trend Central. Like, you're putting it
out. That was the part of this. That was it.
Yes, yeah. She's talking about what she's doing. So it's like they're all on a stage. Every faction of it had time on stage to talk about what they're doing in the nation, to raise the nation. And she was there after all of the fraud, talking about her being to prison. And then this is a new scam that she has. And all of the people with her are like, she's changed my life. And all of that was still going on. But there's no evidence of that. She made a claim that her magazine and her brand goes out to 250,000 people every month. And it's like, you're lying. I went searching on the internet. I can't see where this digital footprint is and where all of these people are, but there's still this like glossy flossing that she has. Like, literally, I'm so influential. I'm helping so many people. I'm saving so many souls. Where there are other people that I personally know, this girl owes thousands of pounds to, and Pastor Toby co-signed her, like, just forgive her. Like, oh, she didn't mean it. Oh, that you just have to forgive her. Thousands. And then she's there talking about, I make so much money, I pay so much tax. Me and the government are like one. Like, I'm helping. Like, I employ so many people, and it's like, you're a fraudster. That is such a sham. I was just so sad at Trend Central for doing this.
What was Trend Central's point? Is it that, because we've talked about Trend Central as well, the responsibility of them and the carelessness? Because I think Trend Central is a young production company. They've come up from producing and putting out Backchat, was a college debate show, which has had lots of controversies, but it's been great TV, I must say. So they've come up, they've had an idea, they've come up, and they're doing really well with their YouTube channel. But there is an element possibly of a lack of, because there's a thing about you get rich quick, but you don't necessarily know what you're doing as you get rich quick. And the training, because like I said, I've worked at the BBC, I've trained as a journalist, and like the law of being a broadcaster or a journalist, and certain things you need to be aware of when you're dealing with sensitive content, you have to toe those lines. But there's something that when you come up with an idea and you have access to the internet and you can just do, which is great because it's broken down the barriers, especially for people of color who haven't been able to get onto broadcast and get the proper channels, get popular through the proper channels, or the traditional channels, I should say. This has been great for us. However, the lack of responsibility and care that goes into something like this, Trend Central, with their what's their recent show, Blue Therapy, things like that. Where's the aftercare? The responsibility of doing something like SPAC Nation, knowing what it is, that means there's an element of you don't give a damn, or you're in on it as well.
This is the thing. This is what people are asking. Like, is the guy? I think his name's Andy. Like, is he a part of SPAC? Like, is he a member of the congregation? There may be that, or is it just the bag was too much to resist? But it's like, there's that way up, isn't it? Is it like money over your people? Like, are you just prepared to sell us down the river?
But that's,
because it's an influential channel. It's so influential. There are so many young people on it, and this is what's
watching it. This is the thing. You have a lot of young people watching, and this is, and I get what you're saying, that it's as if that they're in bed together, that they were paid to do a PR for them, or like to try and fix. You know, like when you have something goes wrong with one celebrity,
management.
God bless you, my sister. To try and manage things and make everything a bit more clean. You know, go back, like for example, I don't know if you guys saw recently, Amber Heard went on after the whole case has been won by her ex. You know, it goes on all these news channels and was trying. It was like, I'm like, why are you coming out to talk? We've already heard the nonsense they had to say. You've exposed your yansh in the whole of the place in the court. So why are you coming to come and do damage control? And I think that's what they did. They were trying to do damage control, because what I've heard about that church and what I've seen about that pastor, I'm so sorry. He has a mansion waiting for him in hell. That's what I can tell you.
It's
fair. I just don't. The correlation, even the fact that I love the idea, because young people coming out of prison, you need a safe space. You want to explore,
exactly,
and evolve and grow and reintegrate into society and be supported, because we know that in reintegration into society is dire for any ex-prisoner, ex-convict, ex-prisoner, and especially if you're of color, it's even worse. You're, you know, unless you have a family or support network around you, it's not great. So this is the perfect thing. I don't even mind if you're a little bit cool. We do have Christian rap, and you know, you're trying to get with the trends. You do have a little bit of stepping into how to rebrand for the modern ages, because you know the church has been losing, because the world is being there's so much exposure and there's so much lack of faith, and it's very hard to hold on to faith when the world has gone to shit. It takes a lot.
Of course, definitely.
Follower of whatever religion you really want to follow. So moving with the time to speak to a younger audience and catch them when they're young, if you've got good intentions, there's nothing wrong with that. But not to put like you're endorsing a trap lifestyle. Are you nuts? Even that you're Christian, you're calling it trap music, and you're calling it Christian drill. You cannot. It doesn't match.
It doesn't juxtapose. You cannot juxtapose two things, because drill music that I hear of, I mean, I don't know. I think what it is like they're trying so hard to reach the masses, but they're forgetting what true Christianity. And I get it. I mean, I've heard rock bands who said they're Christian rock. I'm like, rock music. Okay.
But it can be if you.
Yeah, no, I get it. Not to say I don't understand it, but I don't know how you can be in bed like that. But anyway, that's my own conversation.
That's the thing, and that's the thing, because like it's mad. You know, I always have to talk about Creflo Dollar, because I remember my mum.
Oh my God. I was quite surprised about that one. Even Bishop Eddie Long as well.
Oh my, exactly. Listen,
that one died in the end, didn't he? Because he got exposed.
Yeah, Eddie Long, this is the thing, the stuff that he does. Eddie Long, that one, and then Creflo Dollar back in 2015, he was called out because he wanted support to buy his jet for 65 million.
Yeah.
Imagine you are a whole pastor and you're doing to your congregation of needy folk, please guys, I need a jet to do my ministry.
What do you need a jet for? Buy first class tickets if that's what you need to do. I'm sorry. Pay for your tickets. I don't get this thing eggs me. I swear to God, it eggs me. I don't understand the concept why a pastor needs private jet. When you're not Beyonce you're not going on world tour now. I don't understand. Even Beyonce, Jay-Z was saying the other day he borrows private jets from CEOs that are his friends. Can I borrow your? He doesn't have one. He himself is borrow posing, and this is someone that's a billionaire that's borrowing private jet from another billionaire because he doesn't want to pay for it. Exactly. But you Creflo Dollar, you're a pastor into the law. I don't get it. I'm sorry, I know I'm doing the Yoruba auntie, but that's who I am.
That's who you are. That's the truth.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think I played enough aunties in my lifetime, but what I'm trying to say, I just don't understand why a pastor, a minister of God, people are here suffering, people are going through difficulties. You're asking them selfishness. I want to preach the word, the gospel. Preach the gospel from your sitting room. We don't need you. You don't need to be flying around on private jet. 65 million. That money. If you say I want to feed a whole of, pay off debt, build schools. If you're saying I'm building schools, trying to finance everybody here to try and buy a house. If you're trying to put money together, that you got a congregation of 2,000 guys, you know what we're going to do together? We're going to pull together everybody to make sure we all have a deposit for you to be able to buy your own home, to help you with the ladder to get to your own home. That in itself is Christian, but you want to buy private jets, you want to have ministry. What ministry? I've listened to your word. I
think it's facts. I was going to say, because what makes a good Christian and what is it? Because I think I think that the closest pastor that I respect is TD Jakes. It is TD Jakes because he seems to be, appears to be. And there is an element where if you are a successful preacher, pastor, you will get success naturally. So what are the boundaries? What are your, as you made some suggestions that if by no over endorsement or over encouragement, you are a successfully rich pastor, how do you redeem yourself? Because I understand maybe some of them like, well, do we have to be in poverty? You don't have to be in poverty.
No.
But what's the boundaries between being that it gets too much?
I think you have to live modestly, though. I think that comes with the territory. And literally, if you are like, my congregation is going to thrive, that's a brilliant idea. Everybody in my congregation plant seeds to grow another. We are all building so that we all have security. Who doesn't have security? Who doesn't have home security? Who is lacking? That's building a church. It shouldn't be that as the pastor, I am now in the biggest mansion that has 20 rooms and I'm flash. And that shows that our church is really prosperous. It should be everybody who comes here, we prosper. We work.
Exactly.
It's about community.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember this guy? This other pastor was a white pastor, and they actually accosted him outside. Something Kenwood. Is it Kenwood? His name said, "Oh, you bought Pastor White." He was in America, and he had this mansion, lavish lifestyle. He had, and they were like, "I don't understand." They actually accosted him. It was one of these. They were doing an expose on him. They're like, "We don't understand," because he used to be on the God channel, and I used to follow him. I can't remember. He starts with K. Was it his surname is K? And I remember they used to be Daystar. Daystar's another one. And those two, the couple, the husband and wife one. And they used to do all these, evangelism and all that. And then Mike Murdoch used to go on those websites, those TV shows. And the guy that, he had 2-3 private jets. He had, if you see the house that he lived in, and then some of these congregational members, come on, they're living in poverty. For me personally, I feel as if, as a pastor, if your congregation, if you're selling books and you're making wealth from one way or the other, fair enough. Plant and sow back into your congregation. Plant, because some of them, I remember when I used to go to a really popular church many years ago, and I stopped going to this church years and years ago, and the church was being investigated, and PricewaterhouseCoopers was now, the government now made the PricewaterhouseCoopers come and do their books, and the church had to pay them £10,000 a day. That's what the government was a penalty, because at the point, the church had £20 million in the bank accounts, and they wanted to, like, how come you have all this money? And then, in those days, people used to pay their tithe and offering. People were giving money. And then pastor, what he used to do is he would sell his books to the church. So the church would have to buy his books and then pay him the money, so that whenever he's doing anything, any bookshops, the books that he sells in the bookshop was already sold to the church at half price, and he would get his money back. And that's how he made money. But the amount of wealth books, all these books are, it was all about wealth. Well, the prosperity.
Yeah.
That's all they were preaching. But the prosperity you were preaching, half the congregation were not prosperous, and you were doing so well. I mean, I know that in the end that they audited the church. I think they tried to audit him. They exposed them on Evening Standard, and then they had one Nigerian journalist go undercover to try and infiltrate that church. Then there's another church, VPA. That one, Pastor Alex, that one too. The church apparently paid for his house, a 2 million naira, £2 million mansion, and then apparently he was going to be evicted or something. It was something about the whole nature of where they were living or where they were renting. But everything was just so dodgy. And I'm like, why is all this dodginess happening in the body of Christ? What makes sense? I don't get it.
I've definitely, we'll get the comments. I've definitely not argued. Mum watched, I think it was Joyce Mayer or there's somebody else. And the woman's face from when she started to now is plastic. Now, I'm not talking about plastic surgery for anybody individual. But again, that leaning into materialism and commercial, and you're supposed to have faith in God. So you shouldn't be having plastic surgery. I'm so sorry. You not as a bleeding pastor. How are you having plastic surgery? Unless it's for reconstruction or for your health. But the fact that you've got a nip and tucked face, and this particular one's got a very nipped and tucked face. And I remember saying to my mum,
Daystar, they were one of the couples in Daystar. They had the husband, you could tell that man had.
it's too much. That's vanity.
Definitely, he's
Exactly.
done nip and tuck.
It's a
And
sin.
there was another one. What's her name? It was white girl, blonde woman. She and her husband, I used to follow her like crazy. I can't remember her name. And then she and her husband got separated or divorced. And they'll be, the funny thing, whenever their marriages fail, they now start preaching something else. I'm like, sis, you were preaching before about marriage, saving your marriage, all of a sudden your marriage is finished. Your whole tune. And then I think she was the one that said that, that Donald Trump was going to win the election again this time around.
Wow.
Paula White. Was it Paula White or someone?
Hey, that's the Paula White. And they were praying for him. They said the angels, send the African angels to come down from heaven. I'm like,
listen, that
are you mad? African angels to come down and fight for Trump. Trump that cannot.
That picture
throw the whole woman away.
Literally, the one with the black pastors praying on Trump, that made me want to fight everybody black. Listen, let's get the comments, please.
Okay, I can't see all of them, so I'm only going to be getting the last few. If there's any more before then, coming after me. So, gracious greatness says their Christianity is different to that of George Miller, who built orphanages, and Charles Spurgeon, D.L. Moody, and those preachers of yesteryear. SPAC Nation is hype on full. And SPAC Nation is like some of those conglomerate multinational companies, them get away with unethical practices, definitely. And the K name that you were saying, he came back and said is Kenneth Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland, yeah.
Kenneth Copeland. And also,
thank you guys. Thank you. God bless you.
Is it church or mummy water?
Hey, Lobato, that finished me today.
and then ZW goes on to say, Joyce is one of the private jet pastors. She said she doesn't have time to fly commercial when the gospel needs to be preached.
Really? Really? The gospel needs to be preached. Where? With the private jets? I don't understand.
It's a lie. It's a lie. You literally, there's flights going out all the time, every day.
You can book first class ticket if you want.
And that's the thing, she could even afford a first class ticket. God. You wouldn't even begrudge you that if you're doing partner with your church. Yeah. That's the best thing. Even simple partner. Anyway, before we move on, I think we wanted to quickly touch on
what's the last?
What was the other thing we were going to talk about?
Yeah, I think you guys, there was a few things that you sent me that you wanted to ask about. I don't know.
Well, I've lost the thread, but sorry, my God. To Americans, happy Independence Day. Are you happy?
July the 4th.
July the 4th. Well, we're as your British cousins, we don't know how to act. Should we be celebrating or should we be feeling ashamed, sad, and distressed? Because this 4th of July, what is America celebrating after all the nonsense that they've been through? I want to get to quickly this Kenneth Boykin. I love his Twitter thread. He's amazing. Let me just get to her. Keith Boykin. He says, an unarmed black man shot 60 to 90 times by police in Akron. 10 black people murdered in a grocery store in Buffalo. White supremacists marching in the streets of Boston. The Supreme Court taking away a woman's rights to control her own body. And they call it Independence Day. Keith Boykin is an American. He's an author of Race Against Time, The Politics of a Darkening America. I love his Twitter threads. He breaks down history, race, and he's unapologetic about it. He's brilliant. But that's his points. Guys.
Do they have anything to celebrate? They don't.
I don't think they do. I'm so sorry, because if you even think about the 4th of July, the slaves were still slaves at that time. So that's why they have Juneteenth. Obviously, the American independence was once, and then slavery still happened. So I know a lot of African Americans they feel some kind of way in response to the American independence, because they were not independent. So even till today, as you said, look at what's been going on in America right now. That country is just, I don't know what's going on. It's backtracking on itself. I mean, to be fair, I think the backtrack has always been there. Ever since Donald Trump came into power as a president, it seems as if he just unleashed Armageddon. And everybody and their mama who felt some kind of way has just, things that we know that there's police brutality in America, but it's gotten worse. I don't even know what they're celebrating. I'm sorry. I really don't think they're celebrating anything should be celebrated right now. I'm sorry. There's
Sorry,
too much.
oh no. So I was just jumping because I was looking at Twitter to see any commentary, and apparently shots have been fired just more or less not long ago at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois. Initial reports say 30 injured, 6 dead.
Wow. And that's just today.
That's breaking now. More than 30 shots fired on the 4th of July parade, Highland Park, Illinois. Yeah. Police are searching for the suspect described as a white male between the age of 18 and 20.
There we go.
And that's on Twitter now. And that's a 4th of July parade.
Another young white male out there on a rampage with a gun. Like, there's nothing to celebrate. They were even talking about like striking, like women going on like a massive strike on the 4th of July. All of that. I don't know. I really wonder with America, if this was somewhere else in the world, America would be saying we need to invade that country. So who is going to save America from America? I truly believe they need saving. Like, somebody needs to come in and like take over. It's ridiculous. That killing of the young guy, I couldn't even. I don't know why I clicked. It's J something. I think it's like Jalen. I think, or Jaden.
1 second. His name is Jalen Walker. So that's police killed Jalen Walker, a black man in Ohio, by shooting him dozens of times as he ran from officers following a traffic stop. A traffic stop.
Because he was hounded. I can only imagine that. So this is footage that the police have released. And if I was him, I would have ran for my life, hoping to have got to some type of safety, because they were going on like this was a full-on lynching, like screaming, like as if they were going after a dog. And this is somebody who just had a traffic violation and was unarmed. 90 bullets.
Apparently the police in Akron are saying, we'll see the footage, have said that Walker 25 fired a gun at officers who were pursuing him.
And by all accounts, they have nothing. Like, they're saying that there's some type of residue and it's like one bullet or something. And I believe that's probably from one of them. But the footage I was seeing, the police officer is running towards the car, shooting. Why are you doing that? Like, literally, it's like a video game or something. Like, he's just shooting aimlessly, going, ah! Like, what happened to you guys? 90 bullets at one human. And then after, they still handcuffed him. It's like,
that's the part. And also, and it's again, we've talked about, it's a traffic violation. Let him go.
If he runs, if he did something, it's traffic. He hadn't killed anybody in your face, so it doesn't really make sense that they were so violent with it all.
I think for me personally, I feel as if that when it comes to black men, they just get triggered and they just let loose. A lot of these police officers, God forgive me for saying this, I feel as if they go into being police officers, because really and truly they have severe hate for any person of color. Yeah. Because if it was a traffic stop and the boy ran away, there's so many, you could, even if you want to like tase him or something, you know, you could have found, sorry, 1 second, I've got somebody at the door. You could have, Nene, can you help me open the door, please? Oh my God, you could have found a way to deal with it. Please, sorry, I'm going to come back.
No problem. It's exactly that. It's reassessing the need to arrest somebody. I understand as a police officer, it's like, okay, so we just let everybody go? No. But to the point where did a traffic stop, George Floyd, what rumored a fake 20? Was my man who selling cigarettes, Skittles in his hand and a hoodie for Trayvon. The fuck?
But then you can have that guy that went into the church and shot 10 people, leave and get a burger. He killed people, but you were able to arrest him.
Right.
Like, it's beggars belief. And again, I'm glad that they're protesting, but when does it end? Like, the country needs saving. They actually, like, it's so lawless there. And for them to be a superpower with nuclear arms, the world needs to be like, these guys are absolutely not of sound mind to have nuclear power. Like nobody is of sound mind to do that. Like not one president. They shouldn't be allowed to have this. You can say that to other nations. You can say to nations, no, we don't believe that you should have nuclear weapons. How is America allowed to have nuclear weapons? Who's trusting these guys? They're killing their own. They'll end the world and be like, oh well, like, this is how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles.
So, 4th of July, bro. We don't have our resident American Ronald in the house. I would like to know how he's feeling.
I know
about it. And then,
Ronald, we need you to tell us what's going on the ground over there.
Because also, just a quick one, because on the back in time for possibly Independence Day, there was a black family. Let me get the story up. There was a black family in America who had their beach stolen from them back in the racist days, which never went. Hold on, let me get the story proper.
So what happened was they both. If you look at the story with that one, they bought the land over 100 years ago, even more than that. You do realize that it's the same thing that happened in Central Park. Central Park was actually owned by black people, and they took it back off them as well.
There you go.
So after years and years and back and forth, they've actually given the land back. And what's going to happen is the state of the LA or whatever, San Francisco, is now going to lease the land back from them every year. But can you imagine you've paid for your land and then they collect it back from you? And
this is what this is what they did. I think when they set up the beach. It was the Willa and Charles Bruce who purchased the land for $1,225 in 1912.
And that's a crazy amount of money even then. Anyway,
yes, it was.
They raised that wealth. They bought a beach because they weren't allowed on normal beaches, and the white people in the neighborhood just harassed them. They caused problems. They called the police on them. They did this and made it so uncomfortable. Then the council just decided that you can't have this land. We're going to build. They think they were going to build accommodation stuff. They never did. The land has just been there, landing, not doing anything. And now the family have got it back. But imagine all that.
So it's over 100 years.
100 years later that they got the land back. But if you think about it, if they have allowed them to build on that property, build on the place, how much money that thing would have accumulated wealth over years and years and years. And this is the biggest issue that African Americans have, is accumulating wealth in America. Because every time they do something, look at Rosewood, look at Tulsa, they'll go down there and burn it. They'll find a reason to burn. You moved out. You told us we cannot be with you. We now go somewhere. We now build our own churches. Because if you think about Rosewood, apart from what I get, Rosewood and Tulsa, that they had their own church, they had their own hospitals, schools, banking. There was a photo of all the big black professionals, all men, that they had grocery stores. They really had made it was Black Wall Street. And that's not the only town that they did that to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a couple of towns. They would not find a reason to, because they were thinking, why are black people living more than we are? But we're thriving here. You've asked us to leave your town. We've gone somewhere else. We've packed our loads.
Minding our own business.
Thank you. But I just feel as if the depth of racism, inept racism in America, that as far as you're black, you're not allowed to accumulate anything. You're not allowed to accumulate wealth. And this is the problem with black people at the moment in America. Accumulating wealth is their biggest issue. Redlining. They want to buy a property. Even when you want to try and buy a house, the amount of the interest rate they put on it for you, it's nuts.
But it's not too far off here as well.
It's here too. Same.
Line for line on loans, black people generally we're going to pay more for a loan. But also when you look at segregation in America, how well black people were doing before we had integration, you see that there's a parallel. Actually, it wasn't through just civil rights. It's actually economically, they could see these guys have amassed so much. We need in on this.
Yep.
So it goes hand in hand. It's like we kind of have this rose-tinted spectacles when it comes to the Kennedys. Like they helped, like they were working with Martin Luther King, and no, it was in their interest to actually end segregation because they needed black pounds. And so once you diminish how black people can run by themselves and how powerful they can be, and you have them integrated, and then you also oppress them, it's a perfect concoction for white supremacy. It's like actually, and I'm not even saying that we need to go back to the days of segregation, but we absolutely need to harp on the days of doing for ourselves.
Definitely.
Like, being integrated into society. Who's winning? We just have to look around. Who benefited from us having integration?
Exactly.
And look from that standpoint, and it is like, actually, it's not benefited us in any way.
It's really not. It's really, 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 really not. And as we were saying, we're not saying let's go back into the days where there's you know, you can get killed for crossing into a white town and all that type of shit, or get killed or arrested for drinking from a white fountain.
Have you guys heard recently that they've actually found the arrest warrant to arrest the
yes
woman
for
Emmett Till's death?
Yeah.
And the woman, she's in her 80s,
and
they said that they should arrest her, they should try her. That if they can still be trying Nazis in Germany at 100, I think the oldest Nazi they just tried recently was 101. They tried this man that, you know, he had war crimes and he should go and suffer for it. They should be able to you know, to arrest this woman. And apparently the reason why they didn't arrest her at that time was because she was a lone parent or something of that nature. I think she and her husband, I don't even know what's going on, but they found her. They know who she is, and she moved and changed her name. Yeah. This woman caused the fact a 14-year-old boy, you lied that he whistled at you as the boy did not do anything. And if you guys remember the story of Emmett Till, his mom allowed, you know, when they were basically trying to bury him, she asked them to open the casket so they can see his badly beaten face. This small boy, a 14-year-old boy, grown man, what's he going to do with this white woman? I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
When you hear stories, and I don't know if you remember this story, another story of this another young boy who was convicted for killing two small children, and after 70 years they finally you know, cancelled the conviction, and he was the youngest person in America to have been electrocuted. Yeah, exactly. And then they basically had to stack two Bibles together for him to sit, so that, you know, even the helmet. Yeah,
it's like what they've done, and it's true, as you say, Auntie Nana, how dare they have the rights to all the weapons when they're culturally, inherently, there's madness and a sickness. But I always say I hate when Black people say we can't work together. It's not true. And we have a legacy of just surviving and coming through and pulling through, especially, obviously, back in our home countries. We have our infighting, but that's normal, like we're humans. But we can definitely work together to build. And in those days, we did. Whole towns, whole networks, whole systems. And because of jealousy and fear of losing power, the Ku Klux Klan, and greed, the Ku Klux Klan, aka police people, wiped out Black towns.
Just wholesale. It's actually shocking how they do it. And they continue to do it in small ways. To today. We know that there's agents whenever we are moving in a direction. I always say this, 2008, when there was that spate of people going back home, especially to Ghana.
Yes.
We are going back home. Wholesale people were going. All of a sudden, Ghana is hit with so many light-offs, you couldn't even get your business off the ground. That just seemed to just take place. It was like people were growing their businesses, then light-off starts take. And you know, if we had still kept on going, they probably would have somehow stopped us from going for visas. They would have done something. They say get out of the country, but when you start leaving, like, actually we can better ourselves here, they stop you from doing it. They do it in little ways. When we start getting community, when we have organizations, then before you know it, this one's infighting there, this money's gone missing. They always stop us from getting together. The only way to do it is not through organization, is self-determining what you're doing and keeping it to yourself, and just everybody having a mindset shift to just do what you're doing and move away from it. But you know, we can't do it in an organization. They infiltrate it.
Too much. We must move on. Just wanted to let you guys know, by the way, the Queen is getting a 30 million bonus from our taxes. Are you okay with that? I don't think you are.
Hey, look, I thought 30 million bonus for what?
Because apparently there's a thing where her earnings cannot drop by force. So I mean, I don't want to get, because we need to get into Auntie's business, but I just want to let you guys know that the Queen is taking our taxes for a £30 million windfall. And apparently the royal family have claimed 100 million from taxpayers this year. Last year, a report revealed. And, you know, they're rising, the royals' spending rose 15 million, that's 17%, to top 100 million for the first time, whilst the cost of living has sped out of control.
You should see the electricity bill they said I'm going to pay this month.
That's what I'm saying.
I was like, what? Why? I said, I still have to call this.
Amazing.
People are mad.
Anyway, we must move on because we could go in for hours on Lizzie and her benefit family. But
Lizzie and her benefit. Lizzie, baby.
So now we're going to get into our sponsors for the day. HelloFresh. Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. Do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering, seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less with over 25 recipes to choose from each week. There is something for everyone to enjoy. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Auntie Nana, I think you said your HelloFresh delivery has arrived.
We've had salmon steaks, and the boys actually. So when I went in, when the internet went down, the boys had actually finished all of their salmon and were asking for more food as well. It definitely. It just cuts out so much faff going around the supermarkets, and you just pick what you want at the beginning of the week, and it will be with you within like 72 hours. And our discount code really does make a difference. So for a family of 4, it came up to £20 for the week shop.
Oh wow!
With them, so that's
please,
like,
I beg. Hello,
6
don't
meals
forget to
that
hook
you
me
get
up
in your
here.
first one. So it's definitely worth just following through on our link, seeing what the offer is, and going through the menu. It really does make a difference.
Okay, so as Auntie Yetunde said, listen, Auntie Yetunde, this is what's happening. Go to the link in our show. We'll send you the link to get 50% off your first box and then 35% off your next.
Me, I'm looking for free. Let's talk about free.
50%. Auntie said for 4 people, you got £20 for your weekly.
It's like £22 for 4 people.
Minor.
I know it's a minor, but right now, let them hook me up with free box first. Let them know I am.
Auntie Yetunde is well worth it. So get on to
so
her.
Please, hook us
Hello,
up. Okay, free box for Netflix star. Beg, shake on it.
Exactly. It's true. So Netflix, speak directly. I mean, you HelloFresh.
HelloFresh, guys. My name's Yetunde. Please, look for me. Ask my sisters here to hook up. Follow me on Instagram.
Exactly. Follow me on Instagram. I love that. So, guys, for those of you who aren't a Netflix superstar, please go to the link in our show notes to get 50% off your first box and then 35% off your next 3 boxes. The link's in our show notes, 50% off your first box and then 35% off your next 3 boxes. That's HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit. Now back to the show.
Okay.
Now it's time for Aunties, get in your business. Aunties, get in your business. Aunties, get in your business. Aunties, get in your business.
Oh, wow.
That's finished. Okay.
I'll get into our full entire business. Please, Miss Lady, introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Yetunde Oduwole. I'm an actress. I'm a beauty and fashion blogger. I live in London. I'm a mommy. What else do I do? Yeah, about it. Very simple. Actress, beauty, fashion, mommy. I like fashion. I like clothes. I've been an actor now for 16 years. I do a show called Meet the Adebanjos. I play Gladys and Meet the Adebanjos. I'm also in a show at the moment called You Don't Know Me. I play Abebi and You Don't Know Me. I've been in the first team. I've been in Enterprise. I've been in Babylon. Good. I've done a few jobs in my time.
A lot of jobs.
A lot of jobs. And play Nigerian mothers. Everybody. Nigerian mother, single mother, playing nurses. Y'all, I'm tired. I want to play a doctor. The next one, I want to play a lawyer. I want to play a cop.
You could do a good look. You going on to law. So you started off studying law and then diverted. I
did actually have a law degree. I went to Middlesex University. I studied law.
You actually have a degree.
I have a law degree. But then when I finished my degree, I decided, this is too much stress and wahala. I want to be an actor, darling. And I guess one of the reasons why I did law is because I like to argue. I would look for facts. I would just, break it down. And it's just who I am. I've always been somebody that like to I talk, as you can hear, I like to talk. I can talk, I've got the gift of the gab. But I've always known that I wanted to be an actor. I like to make people laugh, and that's my biggest thing. I enjoy making people laugh, friends and stuff. So I just told my parents, like, well, after this degree is finished, I'm going somewhere else. I went to Goldsmith College. I did a performance skills in acting. Then I also did foundation in music. I did a diploma in acting, musical theatre, the City Lit. I did a musical theatre master's at the Central School of Speech and Drama. Then I went to America. I went to New York. I went to Salada, New York. So I studied Shakespeare in New York in 2006. So that school is where Marlon Brando went to study, Salma Hayek, Robert De Niro, Philip Seymour Hoffman used to teach there, and he also went there as well. So yeah, so I've been around the block. So acting wise, I've been doing it for 16 years. Yeah.
Wow. So you mentioned Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. Because we did an interview in 2020 with some former students, and it's one of our biggest watched videos on the British Blacklist, guys. You can check it out. But they speaking about their negative experiences as Black students.
It was not a good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like, what was your experience like, considering the elite UK drama schools have always been criticised for not being safe spaces, and for the overt racism, the lack of Black literature and plays on the curriculum?
100%. They got zero from me as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
I feel as if that at one stage they only cared about money. They started making all kinds of courses. I studied acting, musical theatre. We barely had learned anything. The only person we had that really saved us was Claudia Williams, who's an amazing. She's actually, I think, head of acting at the moment now. Her daughter is one of the casting directors who actually casted me twice. So I've also been in a show called Youngers Enterprise. So she's cast me to Shohin Bay. So they've cast me a couple of times in stuff that I did. But I will be honest with you, Central School of Speech and Drama, I don't know if they've changed right now, but then it wasn't. I know friends who were traumatized by the experience that they had there. People like Anonsia, he went to Central. I mean, he's come out very well. Not to say that I've had actor friends who've done really well from going to the school and coming out, but the bare racism, the fact that they just didn't know, they didn't have it. To be fair, I mean, out of maybe 30 students, they had 4 Black students, and it's only a lot of people it was just not. My dear, it was. That's all I can say. I don't know if they've changed now, but it was a very and this was 2006. Bearing in mind, I went to Central 2005, 2006, and I had issues with the then head of acting there. He was, I wouldn't even call it was, and I didn't fit in. I was much more older. I mean, I'm 47 this year. I was much more older than everybody. I was 10 years older than everybody in the class, and maybe because I already knew who I was mature, so I knew what I was looking for. I went there to learn to be an actor. Because for me personally, I think one of the biggest things about me is I've always chased perfection when it comes to my craft. I want to learn. I'm not here to just collect the script and just do it and go. I want to be able to understand what I'm doing, and that's what I was looking for. And I didn't get that from Central, and that's when I ended up going to America. I went to study Shakespeare in New York, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. That 3 months or 4 months that I stayed in America, I learned more about acting than I did in that 1 year in Central School of Speech and Drama. They used to call it Central School of Speech and Trauma. It was a very traumatic experience for me. I felt out of place. I felt that at that time there was a lot of things that happened that could have been handled better, even by me as a person. I'm not going to stand here or sit here and blame everybody. I'm not a narcissist. I think I also had faults while I was in the school as well. But I realized that the place was just not the right place for me. As much as the name was I thought the name was going to open doors, go to Central. It didn't do shit for me. Sorry for using bad language. It didn't do sweet F and A, so sorry, but I know that a lot of us who did that course, many of us stopped acting. I can count 5 people who are still acting after doing that. 31 of us, out of 31 of us, maybe a few people are still acting, because it just was terrible. I mean, there was only 2 Black people on the course at that time, myself and another girl called Nana Ajay, what's her name? Ampofo, what's her last name? She was in what's that show? She's a really good actress, really quite strong, beautiful actor. She was in something. God almighty, I forgot the name of it. She's done a couple of shows. She did Caroline O'Change at the National Theatre.
Okay, I think I know.
She's also done. She did a show with Omar. I'm trying to. She even did Enterprise with me, but me and her were not. And because sometimes you do a show, you're both in the show, but you never get to see each other.
Yeah.
And then when they did the rap party, they didn't. She didn't kind of come for the rap party that day. But myself and Nana were the only people in the course, and I felt that there was not enough diversity. It was so terrible. The diversity was terrible. The racism, the prejudice, even against girls who are a bit bigger. So I mean, one of the directors told. I remember the lead teacher said to one girl, "You never amount to anything. I don't know why you're on this course. You can never sing. Nobody's ever going to hire you." And this girl today is making money. She lived in Italy for 6 years. She now lives in Hamburg, and she's doing really well as a musician. One of the reasons I stopped singing, people don't realize I actually sing. I stopped singing because of Central. Because like the trauma when I came out of that place, I think, what, fuck this shit. I'm not even wasting my time anymore. So I focused more on acting, and maybe it was to I don't know. It was just.
I mean,
I needed after that school. I needed therapy. That's what I'm going to say.
Listen, I mean, and the fact that was 2006, and we had the conversation in 2020. One of the girls, the ex-students, contacted me and just said, "Look, we need to talk about this. It's serious." About six of them, and it's a very emotional. I've put the link in there. It's a very emotional conversation. And yes, it's not surprising, but there has been a conversation about. It did get into the conversation and say, look, they're going to change their curriculum, the makeup of their staff.
It was not even the curriculum. It was the
general
consensus of you guys are living in la la land. You are living in a bubble.
Yes,
I don't live too far from Central. Central is literally 20 minutes walk from my house. They're living in a bubble. They are so up the wazoo that they don't realize that Black people exist. Asian people exist. Other people apart from white people exist. And you need to realize that the culture, life itself, your course, your school is not depicting what England is or British culture is. It was just, anyway, that's another story.
Fair, and then thank you for sharing that. And
no, like I told you, I needed therapy when I left that school. I needed therapy. I needed to basically put myself. One of the reasons why I went to America when I finished that course was just I felt deflated and depleted, both of the words. I felt I was very confident with who I was as an actor. By the time I left Central, I was second guessing myself left, right, and center, and it took me a long time to get my confidence back. Bearing in mind, I was 31 years old when I went to Central. 30 or 31. That's 17 years ago, give or take or whatever. But when I left that school, it took me years to rebuild that's how messed up that place messed me up mentally.
Wow.
And this is talking from me, who is a strong person. I'm a pretty clued up person with what I need to say. And that school messed me up. It took me years to get over it. I second guessed who I was. I doubted myself as an actor. I doubted myself as a person. It was terrible.
Wow.
But I don't want to lift it. I want to lift up the spirits. Let's go back. Hey, Joe.
Okay. I was going to say as my sub question, because you have been through a number of institutions for studying the craft. So just as acting, can anybody act? So is acting something that you feel like you need to study deeply, or is it getting the guidelines from different perspectives? Why? I mean, like you kind of give an insight that because of your traumatic experience, you went to America, and that was obviously readdressing what you'd been brainwashed about in your bad experience. However, generally, from your experience and looking back as an actor, is it something you have to study? Do you have to go to school?
Oh, 100%. I think that a mechanic is not going to be able to pick up a tool and start fiddling with Kinney. There are the bases of acting, but if you truly want to go to a place of Oscar, Golden Globe, yes, there are people who are naturally born actors. I'm not going to lie. There are people who are, but once you hone in your craft and you perfect it to another level, it becomes easier. The scripts become easier because what people don't realize is when you get a script, you want to read it. You have to read it at least 1 or 2, 3 times. When I get a script, I read it. Sometimes I am not given anything. They just want you to abracadabra it. And I'm sitting thinking, this is such lazy writing. What is this? Who is this character that I'm having to do the work by myself? And if I don't have the actor training, how do I do the work? if I don't know what the hell I'm doing? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is very important as an actor to train. It is very important to have an acting coach. I have an acting coach, and I'm not going to lie to you, it was the best thing ever, because for years I didn't have an acting coach. For years I was going for acting classes. Then I stopped, obviously the pandemic. Then I started again during the pandemic. I started doing acting classes. For me, I think I've been to a couple of schools to learn. Like I said, I've been to America, I've done City Lit, I've done Central School of Speech and Drama, I've done what you would call it, Goldsmith College. So I've been to at least 4, and I've also done the Actors Center. I've also done private classes. It is very important if you truly want to hone in the craft, because the craft of acting is not just learning lines. If you don't understand script reading, if you don't understand what because there's so much underlining in the language. If you can't break down the English language on itself, it could be written in Yoruba itself, because sometimes there are nuances that the writer is hiding from you. And if you can't understand the psychology of understanding people, you are wasting your time. And that's why you watch certain TV shows and it's flat. You're like, what is this? You go and watch a play and you're left like, that was the most boring bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But check this. If the actor does his work, the script might be rubbish, but you're like, wow, that script was rubbish, but man, that actor was acting. I felt I was in the know. So how do you find ways to get there and pull people in and make them interested? It is training. So when people say I don't need to train, I just want to learn lines, and I'm like, okay, do you, boo boo. But me, I paid the price of having private teachers, and unfortunately, what you find with acting itself, everything's expensive. Especially when you get a private coach, you're paying between 35. I mean, I know coaches that charge £100 an hour. £100 an hour for them to coach you. I remember I went, so I've been, but I've not gone that far. But I remember Ivana Chubbuck, she's the one that trained Halle Berry when she won her Oscar. She also trained, who else? She's worked with Brad Pitt. She's worked for a couple of, this guy, Chandler from, what's his name, Friends. She's worked with a couple of, even Eric LaSalle, or like the guy that used to be in ER.
Yeah.
So she has a book called The Act of Acting. The actors, the Act of Acting or The Actor's Work. I can't remember. It's upstairs. And she talks about the 10 steps of acting. There's so many books. There's a guy called Stanislavski, who was a Russian, aristocrat who basically started the whole thing of the Stanislavski method. That went to the method acting. The people now broke down. So you find that if you understand what you're trying to do, there's so many nuances and schools of thought. Then you can help yourself to be a better actor. I think it's very important that if you want to be an actor today, train. Mingle among actors, go for acting classes. That will help you make your job so much easier. I think I've ranted enough.
Shifting from law to the arts, what was young Yetunde like? Like what were your hopes and dreams and your aspirations?
Oh God. I think my biggest thing was when I was young, I was very insecure. Okay. I was this young girl who was trying so hard to fit in. If I remember very well, I was a chubby teenager. I was very, very fat. I think I was like size 18, 20. So I lost weight. I went down to size 8. So I'm looking back at 21. I was 21 years old, lost a lot of weight. I lacked confidence. I was trying to find myself. So the young Yetunde was a girl that was trying to find herself, trying to fit in, I think, unfortunately for me, I let people's insecurities get the best of me. So today, I'll be honest with you, I'll just say this straight. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. If I'm allowed to swear, I'm not allowed to swear. You can beep it outside.
That's fine, you can swear.
I don't look for approval. There was a time I really looked for approval from friends, certain people, and I misunderstood the content. This is what I'm saying about acting. When you're a good actor, you can understand people and break them down. I'm not saying I'm the best. I think I'm getting there. I know that what I'm looking for in my craft, I haven't reached it there yet. What I noticed as a young person, looking back on me now, I really was seeking for approval from the wrong people. And what I didn't understand is people will mess you up in trying to control who you are because they themselves are just insecure.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly looking for approval, in the fact that you want to fit in because you're looking for, you or Anana or anybody else to tell me I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that was my problem as a young teenager or young 20-something year old. I was looking for people to tell me I'm okay. Whereas at that time, I just needed to tell myself, girlfriend, you are a bad bitch and keep. But I feel as if we were not allowed as Nigerians or Africans to hype ourselves up. We didn't have affirmations in those days. We didn't tell ourselves we were amazing. And our parents didn't tell us we were amazing. It's not like now you're standing with your daughter and say you're beautiful, you're fabulous, your hair is nice. I'm having to do that with, because obviously as you see my entourage, you come in and come out in this our house. You know, I've got 2 black daughters and my hair is natural. I stopped wearing wigs for this, like the last 3 months. I just stopped wearing it. I mean, I grew my hair out. I cut my hair. They've seen me with my kinky afro. They've seen me the way that I feel as if they should see me. I want them to be proud of who they are. You know, I'm dealing with insecurities at the moment because both of them are dark skinned. They're in school. They're being bullied sometimes. One person is, you know, so mommy, they're bullied because my daughter is deaf in one ear. So she worries about being bullied. My other daughter is on the spectrum, but she's high functioning. So she also worries about being bullied. So I find that because of what I've been through, I can impact on them like, girlfriend, don't worry. Enjoy it. This is who you are. Don't worry about anybody else. Look in the mirror and like yourself and love yourself. Once you like yourself and love yourself, anybody can take it. Harvey Smith. And I think that's the problem I had as a 21-year-old. I had a very shy mom, and I had, you know, my parents. I grew up, you know, my parents were. I grew up with my mom, and you know, she went through her own traumas with her mom. And I feel as if that the biggest person in the world, if you have a mom who instills in you self-love, and they don't, because I remember as Nigerians, you can't Yetunde, he can't talk too much, talk. That's all they used to tell. Say, can't you just shut up? You know, they must you talk. They'll say I'm too forward and all these things. But looking on hindsight, the Bible says your gift will make room for you. If I wasn't a talkative person, you asked me to come onto this show. You know what I mean? Excuse me. If I cannot hold a conversation, you like, this woman is boring, I beg. Please, next. Can we get to, you know? But when I realized that the power I have with these lips, I've made more money as a Nigerian Yoruba speaker that can talk and everything that I've, you know, this is what I am. So I find that 21-year-old Yetunde was insecure, looked for approval. 47-year-old Yetunde is not looking for your approval. You like me, don't like me, that is your business. I'm not a narcissist. I do listen to friends when they say, Yetunde, you know what, you didn't call me, you say you are calling me, I'm so sorry. Me too, I'm going through trauma, I'm going through, you know. I'm very quick to apologize if somebody calls me out on my bullshit. I will, you know what, please don't be angry. I'm learning, we're all learning. But then you find that even when you apologize to somebody, there's that apology is still not enough. Like, I said I'm sorry. I'm learning. You know?
I mean,
and I'm saying but I believe that the self-love is something I lacked when I was a child. I lacked self-love, and I probably ended up having relationships, even friends that I shouldn't have had friends with. So this is my thing now. If you have an issue with me and you don't feel as if I'm your cup of tea, it's okay. The next person will like me. Compared to when I was younger, I was so desperate for these friends, like for them to approve of me.
Yeah.
Then I realized that the person that you're chasing for approval, are they even approved of themselves? They got themselves together.
Exactly.
I don't get it. Why are we here? I remember there's been a few people who have broken my heart as friends, deeply broken my heart, that when we were younger, I was chasing after them as friends. Right now, I'm not bothered. I'm so sorry. I've come to the place of, you know, I'm cool. I'm okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. I'm a work in progress. I believe it's important for people when people tell you about yourself. Obviously, like I said, they call you out on your bullshit. Listen, I think it's very important. Then there are times that you also have to waver, like, are they really calling me out of my bullshit, or are they just bullshitting me as well? Because you have to realize sometimes that some people will want to make you smaller because they need that. How can I explain it? They need to feel good about themselves. So they're constantly looking for flaws in you or faults. Yeah. But if you are well enough aware of who you are, like, okay, you know what? Me too, I messed up here. Okay, then it's good. And I think that's where I am in my almost 50. I'm very aware of myself. I'm very aware of when I mess up. I'm very aware. Even if I'm not aware and somebody calls me out, I go back and I sit and like, you know what, Yetunde, you did mess up here. This, you know, so I can call myself. Compared to when I was younger, I couldn't do that. I was seeking for approval. It was terrible.
Well, we're glad where you're at now, and as we've talked about your acting career and the many roles that you've had, you are probably most popularly known for playing Gladys Adebanjo in Meet the Adebanjos. What was that? If you can nutshell what that experience was like, and why do you think the show made such an impact?
I think one thing it made an impact was seeing black love. Bayo and Wale, Gladys, and me and Wale, we really loved each other as friends. We had such a great relationship. Everybody thought we were husband and wife. Like people in Nigeria used to ask him, "Oh, where's Gladys? Where's?" And she says, "She's actually my friend. We're not married." One thing I liked about that show, although we also had our own traumatic experiences, that's another story behind the scenes. But I'm not going to expose anybody. I'll just cover it with the blood of Jesus. One thing I loved about Meet the Adebanjos was it was the first time I had my own role. I think it's probably one of the first and only times I've played a married woman. Every other role I've only played single mothers. I with Meet the Adebanjos, I had a husband, I had children, had a job. There was a lot of calamity going on. It was fun. We had sadness, we had happiness, we had a family that you saw, and you saw a Black African family, which was something that was never seen before. I remember they had the Crouches or the Couches or whatever they called them.
Oh, the Crouch. Yeah, that probably.
I remember the Desmonds. And the thing about Meet the Adebanjos was the fact they were Nigerian and they loved each other. They had fun. There was chaos. There was a lot of stupid things that happened. And it was just realness. I think that's one. And the thing now, what I find is a lot of kids, I've seen the show. I get people stopping me in Primark when I'm going, or even when I'm shopping with my kids or in the shop. They're looking at me like, Auntie. And I'm like, are you Mrs. Adebanjo? I'm like, yes. Oh my God, you look so different. I'm like, yes, it is. Why did they make you look so old on TV? I said, I don't know. But to be fair, Meet the Adebanjos was also special because I was actually pregnant with my first child while I was doing Meet the Adebanjos the first season. And I didn't even realize until after that I was pregnant. We filmed for like a month or 6 weeks. And then I found that I was actually 6 weeks pregnant upon finishing. But I loved the show. It started me off in my TV career. I will forever be grateful to Debbie and Andrew for writing a lovely story, for the opportunity and for just showing love in a beautiful place. It's very rare you see Black people, Black shows where they celebrate us as a person, a couple just doing their own thing, getting on each other's nerves. Pastor Michael coming in, and we have those pastors. We've talked about them this evening. Those fake pastors that come looking for kola of rice and dodo and assorted meat and everything else. But I loved the show. It would forever be a place, very special place in my heart. Yeah.
Of all the theatre and TV and film projects you've been on, what has taught you the most about yourself, like your skill and your abilities?
That I am tenacious in the sense that I don't take no for an answer. Irrespective of the journey, I started this 16 years ago. I've still stuck to it. I think that's probably what's told me that I'm in the longevity for me has been, I think with TV, I've done plays, I've done rehearsed readings, I've done a lot of work. My God. Some of the works I have not even put on my spotlight and stuff because you're like, But I think what it is just constantly learning, constantly being able to say to myself, Yetunde, you know what, like I said before, I call myself out on my own bullshit, number one, because sometimes I can be lazy, but sticking to it, sticking to my guns. I've been told so many no's, but I've never taken no. I keep going. I'm not where I want to be at the moment. I'm not going to lie to you. I have friends who are Oscar winners, Tony Award winners. I have friends who are SAG winners. I have friends who are A-list stars. It hasn't changed me or taken away from who I am. But it's like, okay, me too. I wouldn't mind to be A-list star or whatever. But these are things that you aspire to. But for me, like I said, my craft is what I'm looking to get better at. I want to be a good actor. One of the greats. I'm not there. The money and the fame is amazing, but I also want people to Yetunde, there's a new film. Oh my God, she's a bad actor. Let's go and watch it. That's what I'm looking for, people to come and see my work and know like, wow, you're going to be wowed, or I'm going to do something. So that's what I'm hoping to learn. Did you want to ask me something?
Yeah, because I kind of want to push in Did I ask the last question? Was it you? Is it me?
You're the next
one. I want to kind of squash this into one because you mentioned you played a single mother multiple times until Meet the Adebanjos. You've played nurses, and then you've also now said that there are peers who have gone further. How, and you've talked about, I guess, your tenacity and your ability to persevere even when you've got all the no's. But in this space, and the arts industry is so brutal, and to Black women, so brutal, and the older you get, it's more brutality. How do you protect yourself and self-care for yourself? And what is this? Is there a shift? Because we're seeing people like Viola Davis, to be extreme, get those multiple layered roles. In the UK, I do think the UK racism and oppression of Black women and Black women actors is more problematic.
100%.
So just, I don't know if we can squash it together. So your self-care maintaining, but also, is there shift? Or, I mean, why should you stay in this job? Go back to being a lawyer.
You know, for me personally, one of the things I do self-care, you know, is I love dressing up. I love putting makeup on. I love spending time with my kids. If I get the chance to go on holiday, we do. Sometimes I just come off social media. I mean, a few months ago, I was suffering from severe depression. I was so unhappy. And I just came off social media for like 2 months. I was still watching, but I didn't post anything. I just couldn't be bothered. I'm like, if I post, why am I posting? I'm not in the mood to post anything. Just recently, I started posting again. But I was so depressed. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, why are you depressed, Yetunde? And I had to actually sit down and basically talk to myself. I said, Yetunde, where are you now? You are not where you were last year. You're not where you were 2 years ago. You are your own competition. Looking at another person's life. Yorubas will say, Ika Odogba, as fingers are not equal. There's another Yoruba saying, they say, don't look at another person's clock to match your time. Yeah. And I think that's what I do. I realized that, you know what? I even said that to myself. I said, you know what? Even if it's 50, I get there. We'll get there when we're 50. Yeah. Even if it's 60, we'll get there when we're 60. Colonel Sanders, the guy that does KFC, he did not become a millionaire until he was in his 60s. Self-care for me now is just, Yetunde, you know what? You are not where you are last year. You are somewhere else this year. And next year, you'll be somewhere else. That is how I self-care. I think there are times, I'm not going to lie, I look at other people. When I get the script, I'm like, is this the same? Who wrote this? Is this? How am I going to abracadabra this thing? Because that's sometimes I feel as if they just send you the script and they don't send you the whole script. And they're lazy in the writing and they expect you as the actor to abracadabra. They send you a line, okay, this is the person. Then you basically have to bring out your toolbox. And that's okay, you know what? She's 5'7". She does this. She does her best color. What fragrance does she wear? What does she do? How much food does she like to eat? Does she like, this and this? Does she have a boyfriend? What's her backstory? So that's how you now abracadabra it, as I say. But self-care for me is constantly realizing that my yesterday was different and today is different. And to constantly tell myself that my faith means that I should ask and I will receive. Yeah. And knowing that, whatever God has said, this might just be a meantime situation. The Bible says that the stone that was rejected by the bricklayer becomes a cornerstone. And irrespective of what I'm thinking at the moment, there'll be a time that I'll be where I want to be. Mm-hmm. So that's my self-care, knowing that it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It will always get better. Does that make sense to you? I'm constantly believing that my faith is like, no. This one, we have done 15 auditions in 2 weeks. It's okay. Let them keep bringing it, because there are times I get some, I'm like, oh, bloody hell, what the hell? How many auditions more can I do? I'm tired. But then there are times I have to encourage myself because I've got 2 mouths to feed. Yeah. I've got 2 children who are looking to me for comfort, for love, for affection, for finance. This one wants violin lessons. This one wants all the things that I did not have when I was a child. They want to say, like, should I go and sell myself? I mean, you know what? Try our best, So that's what self-care for me is. Self-care is telling myself, Yetunde, it's gonna get better. Last year, was different. Last year I was living in 1 bedroom. This year we're in a bigger house. Last year I did. You don't know me. Last year on Christmas Day, and I had a show on Christmas Day. I'd never had a show on Christmas Day. Last year, I also had, within 2 weeks, I had You Don't Know Me came out on the 10th, or was it of December, or was it the 16th? And on Christmas Day, I had The Larkins. Within 2 weeks, I had 2 shows. I've never had that before. So Last year was amazing. I believe this year is still going to be amazing. The year after that and the year after that. And that for me is self-care, knowing that it's always going to be better. Have I made sense? I hope
I love it. No, you did. You did. Perfectly. And then that just leads perfectly onto our final question of this round. Like, what is the end goal for you? Like, what will, when it's all said and done, what's going to make you feel like, okay, I did my thing here?
I think my end goal is when I'm able to sit in a director's chair and direct and write and produce.
Oh, amazing.
Then that is not so that I'm not the one in the front of the camera, but I'm sitting behind and teaching other people and asking other people an action. And that's my end goal. And I feel as if it's going to come soon, because my youngest daughter, she's 9 years old, but that one is like an old soul. She reminds me of my grandma. She said to me, "Mommy, why are you auditioning? Even to this, Mommy, let me, if you write a film, I can direct it for you, Mommy. If you write something, let's do it." And I'm like, And then I realized that God will speak to you even through the small children. Exactly. And while I'm here auditioning for Tom, Dick, and Harriet, there's so many things I could write about. I think I've got enough life experience to write about a bad marriage, shitty friends, play dates that have gone bad, auditions that have gone to the left, plays that are like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have done this play. Costume gone wrong, trying on 30 weeks on set for a TV show I will not mention. So many things. So I think that my end goal is I want to be a director. I want to be a producer. I want to produce my own films. I want to write and direct. Acting, I would like to keep doing it, so the cows come home. But directing, I would love to direct. I think that's my next step.
What you outlined, I was like, I want to get in on that. Let's write it. That's a comedy. Because they ignore us, the mature woman, and our lifestyle. So a comedy with that, all the things you just said.
I've already started writing it. I've had it in my head for a while about a couple of women in London and stuff like that. Yes. Because the roles I'm getting, because the kind of friends I have, I'm like, man, if I wrote a play about this girl, I have one friend called Lisa. She's in South London. If you see her mansion, she's a lawyer. I have another friend that's an artist. She's selling painting for £2,000. I have another friend that's a surgeon. I have another friend that's a jet setter. I have another friend that's a pilot. I'm like, why am I not seeing this on TV? Why am I seeing?
Exactly.
So it just, when they send me the script, like, you people don't have any friends and inspiration from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the truth, isn't it? It really is. Like, the depiction of Black women in most things is so myopic and one-dimensional. 100%. And you think of the range that your friends span, and it's just like, we're actually in almost every orifice of this world. You're gonna find a Black person there, but we're not seen there.
No,
it's like we have those faces.
Mm-hmm. I have a friend, one of my friends. The amount of houses she has in this London, when she told me. She has a house in Erith. If you see her house, she has one of those houses where they have sunken down, what's it called?
Basement.
Saves your head. They have a swimming pool in their basement. There's two swimming pool in their basement. There's another friend. She has a swimming pool in their outhouse. But the swimming pool is not one of those. It's one of those swimming pool that is down. I don't even know. When I went, I was like, this is another life. And she's Black. Her husband is Black. Her children are Black. She has a subway. She has, when she counts, she's so humble. She doesn't want to, she doesn't say anything. I'm like, why hasn't somebody written a story about you? That she said, yesterday, if you see what my factory is happening, these people are upsetting me. She was talking about her factory in Turkey. Because she sells clothes in Nigeria. You see the nonsense they're doing. I say, factory. I said, yes. I said, they haven't written a story about you. Then what, I want people to see Black women as inspirational.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, that's my own tukobo.
We will get there. We will support you. So this is we're going to get into the quick fire round. This is where we get a bit more lighthearted. This is, imagine you're at the party. You would be doing this, but we're going to do it to you. You are surrounded by the aunties. We have cornered you, and we say, hey, Yetunde, what's going on in your life? So we're coming to get into your deep business. Please.
My business.
You mentioned bad marriage. I don't want to get into anything too sad. However, what's your relationship? Are you single? Are you married? Do you have a man? Are you sleeping somewhere?
I am not sleeping anywhere. I am very, very single. Oh God, you want to start this one?
No.
I was married. I was married. I'm no longer married. I have 2 beautiful children. I was seeing someone last year, but
It was his
Anyway,
fault. Don't worry. It was his
that
fault.
one's another story. But I'm single. I mean, I think at this age, I would like to meet a guy who's in his 50s. When at least in his 50s, 40s, late 40s, 50s, not in his 60s, because when they're in their 60s, all their bits are not working. Sorry, I'll be honest with you. The bits are not working, love. Whatever you want to see, that's your business. So I'm single.
Oh my God.
I would like to meet somebody, get married, but for me, I've decided he needs to be at least late 40s, early 50s. Anything over 50 and 55, like I said, their bits don't work after that at that age. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. Anyway, preferably a man that has daughters, not sons.
Okay.
Sorry. I feel as if a man that has daughters will understand my mindset on how I want to protect my girls, how I want to impact on them, how I want to. They're women, they need more love, they need more. Not to say boys don't. Please don't come for me unless I send for you, but this is my preference, Ejo. Please don't be angry. I'm not dating at the moment because right now all I care about is show me the money, honey. I can't. I just, that thing of like, I'm just looking for financial security for myself as a woman. I feel as if it's very important for you to have your own money. But on the other hand, sometimes I'm thinking, God, just tell me one billionaire. The only problem with all these billionaires is they always have pot belly. And I like a man with six-pack. I don't want to see stomach. Because I already have a bit of a belly from childbirth, one tiny belly here. So if a man has a six-pack and you can see the six-pack when he's doing the thing, you're like, oh baby, check me out. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, but the problem with all these billionaires is everybody else wants them and they're not fit. So
yeah,
problem with billionaires.
This is it. This is it.
Yeah. So I'm single, and but anyway, that's another story. Any more questions?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, what type of auntie are you?
Oh, the fun auntie.
You're the fun, really.
I'm the fun auntie, but I'm also the auntie that will tell you about yourself, because one of the child tried it the other day. So we went to, where did we go? We went swimming, and one of my daughter's friends, she called me Yetunde, and I looked at this girl like, I had to tell her.
Oh wow!
Don't call me Yetunde, call me Etieno's mom. Okay, thank you. Okay. And I had to tell one of her friends. I said, don't, Yetunde. I looked at the boy and I'm like, I remember this was even a situation that happened a couple of weeks ago. So the mom she's West Indian. So the boy, he called me Yetunde. So I think I said it to the mom, or he was there when he said, she said, no, he shouldn't have called you Yetunde. It's auntie. And you could tell that the mom felt, the boy felt some kind of way. This boy's like maybe 8. And then the mom, she even used it to abuse me a few weeks, like 2-3 weeks ago, that I complained that her son called me Yetunde. And I'm like, and this thing hurt me, because this is something, my children don't call you by your name. You're West Indian. I would never let them. I would, yes, we are in England, but we have to respect. I'm sorry, that's how I am.
Yeah.
So, so there. But I'm one of those aunties. I'm fun. I will, love you and, be the one that you can come to if you have issues with your parents and I go and talk to them. But if you cross the line, I will tell you straight, listen, there's rescues. We need rescues. Yeah, no, it's true. No, 7-year-old calling me, hi Yetunde, and I'm like, is Nene's mom, please, or Etienne's mom, but don't call me by my name straight. I've told you, ma. That's how I am. Yeah. Like,
that's it. Either auntie,
I felt some kind of way, and then the other parent who looked at me, she's also Nigerian. She's like, said Yetunde, said her name is Mabel. I feel some kind of way. This kid's calling me, man. I said, you better tell him straight. Okay, it's Didi's mom, so call me Didi's mom. Please don't call me by my name. Because when we were young, when we went to people's houses, hello, Mrs. Somebody, hello, Mrs. Somebody. We don't call them, hello, Pauline, hello, Auntie, hello, Angela. I'm like, this level of, no, that's my own thing anyway. That's my talk.
I feel you on that. I feel you.
Okay, please, Yetunde, can you tell us something you haven't told your mom or your dad? A secret?
Hey, look back on this Instagram, on Beyonce's Instagram. No,
can you tell us a secret, please?
Secret? I don't have secrets. When
you are laughing, there's a secret. Tell us something.
We need something juicy.
What did you say?
We need something juicy, a juicy secret.
Okay, I don't even know. Let me see. Because my kids are going to probably one day watch this show. I don't want them, but I need to have something. Oh my God. Okay. You have to give me an idea what kind of juicy secret you want.
what type of a juicy secret?
I don't know, something that will embarrass you small.
Okay. Oh God. I think the only thing I could probably think of, I once lied to my mom that I was going to a party. I went to a man's house.
Oh, that's just a small secret.
What did you do?
I said I once told my mom I went out to a party. If she ever watches this thing, I'm screwed. I went to an event, yeah. I ended up hooking up with a guy that I know. I went to his house.
That is still something that you could get in trouble with today. I feel like I'll call Auntie and tell her.
Please don't call. And I think that's for me. So I told her, I went out with friends. We were hanging around for where I went to one Bobo's house. That's what I went to do.
Was the outing even worth it?
Yeah, the outing was good. So we went out, and then obviously we all everybody was So I ended up going to this guy's house that I knew, for fun and frolics. I'm supposed to be a good Christian girl. Jesus is Lord.
we see the naughty. We see the naughty. And then
okay, all right. So to tell us something that we can be proud of as well. Like, tell us a good thing that you've done or an achievement.
I think my achievement that is the best thing I've ever had is my children.
Oh.
My children are my best achievement. I was in a relationship for 9 years, and I broke up with this guy. 8-9 years. I met their dad, and within a year I was pregnant. I thought I was barren. I actually thought I couldn't have kids. I actually thought I couldn't have children. Yeah. So we had the first one. Within 3.5 months, I got pregnant again.
Wow.
So I had 2 children in 13 months. Those are my greatest achievements. My life is a testimony. I always tell people that. And it's so funny that I did a photo shoot for Getty in 2013. My daughter's photo, my photo has been used for fertility treatments and all these things. And people wouldn't realize that here I was. I thought I couldn't have children. My second baby was a miracle. Her name is Yetunde Abasi, which means precious gifts from God. I literally, if I'm very, very honest, I think we did the deed twice. And one with a protection, one without protection. I'm like, I don't need to. Why should I go and take money after? No, please, I beg. We had issues with the first one. Obviously, the first one too was also, what you call it? Oh God, I'm exposing myself on Instagram, but it's be on YouTube. So my children are my greatest achievement for me. Not to say I haven't won any awards for me, the Banjos or the other shows I've done, but my babies.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got like a family saying that you heard growing up that you either hold dear or that you absolutely reject? Like, I will never impact this nonsense belief on my children.
Yes. My mom always says this. It was her auntie that used to say to her, I'm going to say it in Yoruba, and I'm going to explain it in English. Certificates. That means the certificate that does not eat eko, one day will eat eba. That you might be thinking to yourself, you've not achieved anything in your life. You are eating eko or you don't have eko, but one day you eat eba. So what you're saying to yourself is, irrespective of the struggles in life, you might think, I have not made it. Don't worry. When the time is right, the eba you eat is plenty. Certificates, ajeba, batobaya means the certificates that you have that you did not use to eat eko. One day, don't worry. That's eko, the eba, the ogbono stew. Basically telling you that the time is gonna come. You may not be able to afford Gucci bag today, but tomorrow, Prada bag will come. So,
all of the bags. Yes.
So
I love
that. And for me, it's something that I hold down dear to. My mom came back to this country, with one suitcase. My mom, I feel as if she is such an inspiration to me. She came from a very wealthy family. Unfortunately, things didn't work out for her when her dad died. So came back here when her marriage fell apart with my father with one suitcase. And she worked hard, so many jobs. You name the job, my mother did it. She was able to buy 2 houses in London. She bought stuff in Nigeria. And I look at her now, I'm like, with one suitcase, you came back to this country and now look what you've done with yourself. I'm an actor. My brother's a pilot. He works for Turkish Airlines. And I remember my mom sat on that boy's head. She said, you must become something, because it is very easy for black boys to fall on the wayside. And my mom was not going to have it. She said, no, not on my watch. She sat on my brother's neck. And I'm super proud of my brother. If you see him in his pilot suit, damn, he fire. He fine. You know, I went, obviously he lives in Turkey. So there was one day I was waiting outside for him to come. He came out of the taxi. So the taxi had to stop around the corner. Well, there was another day. Let me tell you the story. So one day I went to see him a couple of years ago. So we came out of the house to go get the taxi. As we were walking the streets, you could hear a pin drop, because he's tall. He's about 6 foot. He's black. He was wearing the bones. He had everything on, the whole regalia, the hats. You know, they have to like do everything up. And I looked at the boy, I'm like, wow. It was just surreal. Obviously, you're in Turkey. How many black people you see in Turkey? And obviously now see him wearing full regalia and in Turkish Airlines. And that's my mom. My mom made that possible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Last but not so least, do you have a problem that you want us to solve?
Yes.
Do you need advice?
I probably do. I'm just trying to think. I did think about a couple of things, but it was one of those things of, have my biggest issue, right? One of the things I'm dealing with at the moment is my daughters and friends. My oldest daughter, she didn't really make any friends in school in the last 7 years, and it hurts that she's had to go through that. But then on the other side, I always try and impact on her that, listen, it's not everybody that will be your friend, And obviously, she's 10 in 11 in August.
Okay.
And she's just been misunderstood because she's on the spectrum. I know most children who are on the spectrum, you find that she's highly intelligent. Unless unless you are working with children who are on the spectrum, you would never know.
Yeah.
So, but I'm dealing with my biggest issue now is dealing with 2 girls who are struggling with making friends or, having good friendships. And I keep saying to them, some of these children in the school, they themselves are struggling. They're going through their own insecurities. And if you let somebody else's insecurity deal with you. So that's my dilemma as a mom is how do you impact on them, but not take away from their confidence or not impose your own confidence. You know what I mean? Like trying to help them to navigate their own thing. I mean, you've got a 22-year-old, so you probably understand what I'm going through, because my daughter now, she's getting to that place of teenager. All she wants to do is borrow my lip gloss, wear expensive perfume, have to hide one of my bottles of perfume. She's like, how do I navigate this preteen? Because I can see wahala coming, but
I mean, I you know what? I don't have the answer, because I think my daughter went through similar struggles trying to get people to understand who she was. She's not on the spectrum, but she just had her own way of doing things and her own way of living and seeing the world. And she was singled out a lot for what they perceived an oddity, but she just her own character. And I've always encouraged. But one thing I did which I think has put her in good stead for her later years, is that your uniqueness is your strength. And they don't understand at this point. That's on them. They don't understand who you are and your power. And I try and remember for some of the celebrities that said they were bullied when they're young, but you see people that are in a prominent note, they were seen as anomalies. They were seen as different. Even me, I was awkward. I was always with the popular gang, but I might have been the awkward one within the popular group. I never saw friends, but I was always a little bit off key to my friends, kind of thing. But I'm in a position, all my kind of little madnesses, they've contributed to who I am today. And that's why I was with my daughter. So it's so difficult, because you can't on a day-to-day going to school and you haven't got someone to talk to. There's times when I remember my daughter used to say, I was like, "Oh, how was your day?" She goes, "Oh, I just played by myself in the playground," and that used to break my heart.
Do you know how many times I've cried?
Literally,
it hurts. Like you're there with them going through it. It's so painful.
To hear that, and I remember I did that, and I took her out of that school because anyway, this is not my story, but I took her out of school and put her in another school, thinking that would be better, but put her in the next school and having to make friends at like in year 2 or year 3 when the friendship groups are already been formed. it was a disaster for her because she couldn't trade because people are always different. But it's just reinstalling their self-confidence and turning their differences into superpowers, essentially, making them feel like it's their superpowers, it's their strength and their confidence. That's all you can do, because you cannot, I think you can't, other people's kids will damage your child, but it's what you can put in them at home. And it might not work. They could be bullied, they can be beat. Like my daughter got beaten up, she got bullied. But today, who she is today, you can't move her, you can't shake her. She's so strong-willed and so strong-minded. Not to say it's not been easy. She doesn't have her, school can be those real traumative years, and it hasn't caused her trauma, but her strength. Because I instilled in her that your differences is your power. That's what I don't know. That's my thing.
Yeah, it's similar. It's similar. And I have boys, but any issues that they have is always with girls. And I'm always saying to them, it's hard. Like I remember being in school, and definitely in primary school, I went through it a lot more in primary school, just not really fitting in, getting sent to Coventry. I don't even know if they call it that anymore, when like the set of girls don't talk to you. Like that was commonplace. I could go weeks and nobody would really speak to me. But the thing that always stuck with me was my sister continuously saying, like, this is such a small part of your life. Think about how old mum is. And you're going to be in school for a set amount of years, and then you're going to get past this. And because you've got past it, you're going to be so strong. And she would always say that. She was like, it hurts now, but it's just a year. And then you've got 50 years and you're going to be like, I'm so strong because I was able to just ignore these girls. And that used to sit with me when I'd be there, and like tears are right there, like you're going to cry. Like nobody's spoken to me all week. And I just think this is just a small part of my life. And if I manage to get through this, I'm going to be the strongest person. And I would just run with that. But it's family as well. I have a lot of cousins. So school always was a little part of life, because I'd be like, in my family, everybody sees me as amazing all the time. It's like, you're just so great. So I could just be like, this is 6 hours
away,
I have a whole weekend with my family. And that was really important, was just moving. Like it wasn't the biggest thing in my life. I had my cousins, I had my friends on my estate. So it was all, and every summer we used to go to all the festivals. So I actually wasn't even around. I would be traveling with my mum and sister. So it was like my life was in such parts. It was like, this is a small part. I can deal with this. I cried a lot, but it was like, it's small. And I would always have that. This is small. This is a small part of my story. And I would put it in chapters. This is chapter primary school. And I've got work and life and getting married and all of that. I would just play it off. And that was my sister that would do that. She would
This is really good, because this is exactly what I'm actually doing with the girls at the moment. I keep telling them that I promise you this is just a tiny, because I also went through that awkwardness when I was in secondary school or primary school. I didn't have that many friends. Even now as an adult, I remember, like I said to somebody, I had my babies back to back, and one of my friends or two of my cousins till today, they've never seen my children. They make one stupid excuse. I remember recently I reached and said, what exactly did I do? You just stopped speaking to me. Oh, I don't really know. We were so close. So close. Till today, she's never seen my kids. My daughter's going to be 11 and 10. But I keep saying to Nene, and I'm really happy that you mentioned, I said to Nene on the 10, I said, I promise you this is just a small part of your life. If they don't talk to you now, I promise you they'll be the ones looking for you. Just hold it together. I appreciate you're hurting, you're angry, why am I not making friends, mommy? Don't worry about that. You are special, you're amazing. The right person will come and want to be your friend.
Yeah,
that's what I keep saying to my children. But I'm so happy that you've both reiterated that. So that means that I'm in the right, I'm doing the right thing. Yeah,
you're doing a good job, mommy. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so now before we wrap the show, we're going to move into what's made us sad, mad, and glad this week. Auntie Yetunde, what's made you sad, and what's made you mad, and what's made you glad this week?
Okay, so this is actually making me very happy. So this has been, I've been wanting to come on this show for a while.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been so nice and you can see my entourage have come to say hello. Somebody's here. as always. This office is not making itself useful. Yeah, so coming on this show has been very, very happy. Today's Monday, so yeah, so we're starting with and I love Mondays. I would say to people that Mondays are beginnings. Mondays are beautiful. Mondays is when you can impact in your life and you can speak. Yorubas will say, "Only sure sinu aye." Sure is to talk and speak into your life. So Mondays are a great week for me. I love Mondays. I never used to, but then I realized somebody said something many years ago and said, Mondays are amazing. So Mondays, I love Mondays and coming on this show. Auntie, you're making noise. Close the door, boo boo. You should be in bed. Can you imagine? They never want to sleep. If I don't lie down next to them, forget it.
Yeah.
So Mondays, I know Mondays are beautiful. And me being here, thank you so much. What made me mad? From last week. Good. I mean, what made me sad? I'll say what made me sad. What made me sad was Nene was trying to do. We had a fair in our school. It made me really sad that she had started she had her own group, and unfortunately the group fell through. So they were doing this thing called Dragon's Den. So the children had to come and sell their idea to the school council or governors. So listen, we want to come to the fair, but we have these ideas. We want to sell this, sell that, sell this. And the school will now give you £20. The governor will give you £20 to go and buy your ingredients. So what they said, anybody that sells the most on the day for the fair, which was on Saturday, will get to keep their money. So she was already in one group. The group now fell through. So anyway, so what that happened was she now went to meet another group and said, listen, can I join your group? Can I be part of your group? So they say, yeah, no problem. So me and her sat down. Obviously, the way my mind works, I'm a kind of person that when I'm writing things down, when it comes to cost, my father's a quantity surveyor. So when it comes to costing things, how much is it going to cost us? How much can we make? So I did that all with her. So she now went to school, went to show them. So they had to go and do a presentation in front of the council of the. When she now went to do the presentation, unfortunately for her, the other group, they just switched on her. There was just weirdness. And these are girls that we've known since we were like 4. They were 4. We've known them for 7 years. They alienated my daughter from the whole situation. They made her feel bad. So the parent who was running the thing now came when after school one day, called me to the side in front of my daughter, said, listen, I'm really sorry, but please don't let your daughter do this whole thing. I said, why? So don't let her do it. That there's been a lot of problems, that these girls don't want her to be on the group, that they've alienated her. And what now happened was one of the girls who was part of the group, her mom now called me a few days before and cussed me out on the phone and said, oh, your daughter joined their group. Because of that, they removed her daughter in front of her group. I turned the last on the cheek because of you. The other time you said my son was rude. You called you Yetunde, and then your daughter manipulated the group. I said, how did she manipulate the group? She went to join the group. Not realizing this, when my daughter joined this group, they now told another girl who was on that group that she can't be in part of the group anymore. And I'm like, what's the big deal? So it was all this backing and forth thing. So in the end, I got insulted by this parent. And then I had to say to my daughter, you can't do this. She cried and cried. I said, please, if you do this, you're not going to enjoy yourself. These girls are going to make you miserable. The parent has already said that they've alienated you. And it made me so sad. It made me angry and sad because, number one, the mother was shouting at me on the phone. And number two, I had to tell my daughter, I had to really put my foot down and say, you can't do this whole group thing. And it just made me realize how the last 7 years, how we've had to navigate through the school and the dynamic. One person is this person's friend, parents getting involved. So I would say that those are the two things that made me sad and mad, because I was pissed off that the parent called me. But then I also had to calm myself down in a place where I just had to ignore her and just tell my daughter, you can't do it. So you know what? She said that they chucked her daughter off, leave the space. So in the end, I think her daughter then did it. My daughter didn't do it. And Nene was very upset. So on Saturday, while we're doing the fair, she kept going to their table. I had to say to her, why are you going to their table? Leave these girls alone. The school, you've only got 2 more weeks. After 2 more weeks, you're never going to see these girls again. Yeah. But she doesn't get it, because she just doesn't know how to, differentiate friendships, which has been a struggle. So that made me sad and mad. I don't know if it makes sense.
Oh, man. I mean, I can't, the days of that family, the school dynamic is a lot. And you get to one thing I realize every day, that adults, not that I realized the other day, but I felt adults, just grown up kids, they have not left the playground behind. And that's what's to my heart. The playground exists in the office, probably in the care home, in the old people's home. It's still the playground. Okay, so I'm sad about this. Just I was reflecting because I was my glad will make this bit make sense. I was sad about how families can often be torn apart because of personal traumas, and you can become estranged from family just because of unresolved conversations, issues, and that made me sad when I was thinking about that this week. Also, the Melilla massacre in Morocco, the fact that it's not on the mainstream news cycle, that how many immigrants were beaten, killed. The hatred of black skin is madness.
It's disgusting. It's horrible.
So yeah, and also the royals and their extra money, that's made me mad because no, I'm actually down for getting rid of the monarchy, thanks. But I'm also very super glad that my mum met her sister for the first time since her sister was a baby, and it was just a lovely family reunion. It was a moment, and that's why I was saying that sometimes our families can be torn apart because of trauma,
of course,
and people's issues. But yeah, it was just so cute, and it's just funny seeing the two sisters from very different generations, but bringing all our looks together is very nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Like, it's weird, but it was beautiful, and they had a nice little bonding moment. That was so beautiful. So that made me super glad. Auntie Nana.
Okay. So the African bodies in Morocco, that absolutely made me really sad. And because I don't watch the news, I didn't know that it wasn't a part of the news cycle as well. I thought that was being shown on mainstream. So that's made me even more sad because, yeah, it's disgusting. But also, what made me sad again is just the willingness to share African bodies.
Like mutilated. Yes.
All over the place. It's like some respect for people, because we don't do that with any other race. You don't see Ukrainians piled up. Like, it's just, yeah, that really made me sad. And then I was mad. I mentioned earlier on about another shooting in America that really just set me off. I was so pissed off with that. And I'm glad that people are protesting, but again, it's like, when does that end?
When did the protest ever stop? I'm tired.
It's continuously going on. I'm super glad. This is the week that me and my sister were going to be opening up another hub and culture, this time in Kentish Town. We open on Friday.
Near me, I live near Kentish Town.
I will send you all of the details. So
please, I would love to come.
The shop is right opposite Kentish Town Station. It's a really nice place. We're going to have 10 artisans in there selling clothing, skincare, and homewares. And on Friday, this Friday coming from 6 p.m, we're going to have a sip and shop as well, so people can come in. There'll be prosecco, plantain, some jollof rice.
Yes, so thank you very much. We'll be there.
All of the details will be there. Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
Is there a link we can put in the comments?
I will put a link in. Yes, I will put a link on the show notes and in the comments as well on YouTube and on our page. So yeah, definitely come down. Hub and Culture. We were in Peckham for like 2 years, and this will be our third shop that we've done.
Oh,
so Kentish Town, that's where we're from, North anyway, originally.
Oh, wicked. I'm really, congratulations.
Yeah,
it'd be nice. I'll be honest with you, there's not many black things in this area, so it really makes a lot of sense. And there's a lot of black people living in this area. If you get it done right, boy, you can make money.
This is it, isn't it? So we're hoping so. We're starting off with a month, but hopefully we'll be there for a few months. If everything goes well, we'll be there.
Are you? Is this through Camden? Are you doing this incentive to Camden or anything?
This is private.
Okay.
We just
I mean, you should, if you are I would say reach out to Camden Black Creatives. So the group of Black creatives. It's been run by a girl called Caroline Chinakwe. So it's Camden Black Creatives. I'll try and see if I can find you. So they're also do something with Camden as well. So they're trying to see if they can get more funding with Camden, anything black owned in the area, so that Camden wants that, because I know that last year through the Black History Month, they were trying to encourage black businesses by giving them discounts and stuff like that on certain things, pop-up shops and everything. So Yeah.
Okay.
So reach out to Camden Black Creators. I think that's what they're Caroline calls them.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm really excited for you. Congratulations. More grace to you over, my sister.
Yeah, super, super huge. Well done. I'll be down there. Most definitely. Okay, so now, just before we go, we have the Spotify weekly playlist. This week we're inspired by festival. It's festival season, so I thought let's get songs that remind of your best festivals and park events, maybe your own personal experiences or ones that you wish you went to. I will go with Outkast, Hey Ya. It was just the fact, actually, that's not even the tune. Possibly, I can't remember which tunes they all play, but they definitely would have done Hey Ya. But it's the fact that Outkast headlined Wireless. I can't remember what year it was. And my short but long story about Outkast, I love Outkast. I did want to marry, and I could still marry Andre 3000.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, he's beautiful. Excuse me to his wife or his partner if he has one. But if you're single, please, I'm here. Exactly. When Outkast released their album, The Love Below, and
that was one of my best.
Exactly. Exactly. I was so hopeful and just assumed that there'd be a concert, and then they disbanded, and I didn't get to see Outkast in concert ever. And I'm a concert chick, so when they headlined Wireless, it was like beautiful moment, and I just reconnected with one of my favorite hip hop groups of all time. Then Bruno Mars also at Wireless. I wasn't necessarily a huge Bruno Mars. I think he's super talented, but he is a consummate performer. His performances are on to the point. He's him and his band, because he's supported by a great band.
Yeah, great band.
Amazing artist. Yeah, so Treasure's my favorite Bruno Mars song. And he performed that, and I was just in heaven. And then also, of course, Miss Beyonce at Coachella. I was not at Coachella, but that concert, when we caught it, me and my daughter we watched it. I've watched it 1,000 million times. I think Coachella is one of the best homecoming performances, one of the best things I've ever seen in the world.
Exactly.
I wasn't there, but my particular tune is Before I Let Go, because that remix of that brilliant song, first of all, that she added Candy, one of my favorite songs, and she put a Beyonce spin on top. That's one of my favorite tunes. I can listen to that on repeat. So Hey Ya, Treasure, and Before I Let Go. Auntie Nana.
Okay. So mine are all experiences from Glastonbury. The last time I was at Glastonbury, I went to see Dizzy Rascal on the Pyramid stage, and I wasn't expecting anything from it, but he was brilliant. And when he did Bonkers, the crowd went so mad. Like, I had tears in my eyes. I was so proud of him. I was like, this is just so amazing watching like however many thousands of people can manage it in that Pyramid stage area. But it was brilliant. So yeah, he really set the tone. And that same year we woke up to hearing people crying, because it was when Michael Jackson died. And it was the most surreal feeling I was in my tent and just poked my head out. And the girl that I was there with, she came out of her tent, and I go to Glastonbury with traders. The traders area is very separate from everybody else, because you're behind the stalls. And it was like all of the traders kind of came out like, why is everyone crying? Like, we just thought something had happened in a field, like some mad thing had taken place. Then somebody came running through the crowd and was like, Michael Jackson's died. And it felt, I can't even describe it. It was like chilling. Like, it was just tears, loads of people crying, people hugging each other. So it was almost warming as well. It was so surreal. Like, I will never have an experience like that again. But yeah, it was amazing. And my favorite song from Michael Jackson is actually Butterflies, though that's kind of not his.
You give me butterflies.
Yeah, I just love each time I listen to him singing that, it gives me chills in some way. So yeah, I'm adding that one. And then I was megally proud of Stormzy headlining Glastonbury. I wasn't there that year, but again, watching him on TV, it just felt like a proud auntie. And again, had tears. And it's just, yeah, it's a big thing. I was going to Glastonbury from the 90s. So I was there when it was all folk and all white people. So whenever I see like a Black British person headline, I really am like, this is I didn't even think festivals were going to get there. I didn't think we would be a part of festival culture.
Anything, of course.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm really proud that he did that, and I hope that there's more people that go on that Glastonbury stage.
Okay, thank you very much. Auntie Yetunde, do you have any festival songs? One or two?
To be fair, I'm gonna say something. I haven't really been to a lot of festivals. I am very boring.
We have to take you to one.
Yeah.
I haven't, because I've seen Beyonce in concert. I've seen Usher in concert. So I haven't been to any festivals. I've done a festival, obviously, when I went. This one was for, I used to do like a tribute band many years ago. So I've actually been to festivals in Poland and, but singing in that festival, but it was Polish festival. So, but apart from that, I've not really been to anything. So I don't have much to say. Sorry.
It's fine. So you can find our Spotify playlist on Spotify. It's your Aunties Could Never playlist, and you'll hear all our eclectic group of tunes.
Mm-hmm.
Auntie Anne, do you have a piss me off, or are we going on?
I actually did it last week.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't change it. It would have been Auntie Sade, but we'll come back to next week. And yes, aunties, you were missed, my darlings, Auntie Sade and Auntie Farah. We'll be back with them next week.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you, guys. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the wonderful Auntie Yetunde. You did very, very well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, if you ever need me, call me again.
We will call you. We will call you.
Oh, brilliant.
That was fun.
Yes, I really actually love the show. Your Aunties Could Never. Listen, I'll be honest with you. We're definitely aunties now. It's so funny. I think, when people go auntie and looking at the person I'm almost 50. So
you can't even argue. We are aunties. It is what it is. But we are aunties. Your aunties could never beat us.
Your aunties could never, honey.
Exactly. So, guys, thank you for watching and listening. This has been Your Aunties Could Never. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms. We're on all the popular ones. You can watch us back on YouTube. We're no longer on Facebook. You can just catch us on YouTube. And also, like I said, we have a Patreon. 3 tiers, 3 choices. Sign up to our Patreon. You'll get extra episodes and more auntie love. And that's it. Don't forget to write your reviews. Don't forget to try out your HelloFresh and use the discount. And that's it, I think. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Hi.